Hey everyone, good evening, happy Friday, welcome to the King Angel Show, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer and content creator here on YouTube and Twitch, also Facebook. What's up? Haven't seen you guys in a bit. Since last week, we did true crime last Wednesday. Apologize for not being live on this past Wednesday that just happened. Had a huge headache and I didn't feel like 100% up to it, and I just needed to get some sleep. But nonetheless, we're here, feeling great. Hope everyone had a productive and great week. It's Friday. Hope you're having some fun. If you're out, stay safe. If you're in and you're bored, dude, we're doing some true crime tonight. Reading some true crime daily tonight. Peeked through the website. They have a whole bunch of cases that are of extreme interest. There's one specifically, which is the one that we're going to start with tonight, that just happened this week. I mean, obviously all the cases that we see on True Crime Daily, it's pretty recent, but this specific one it's the whole like Microsoft one, and like all the scandal that is behind the executive that was killed and whatnot. It's really interesting. So that's the first one we're going to start with. There's a whole bunch of them there tonight that are a lot more interesting than the ones that we read last week. I call last week the softer, I guess, week that we've had so far in comparison to all the other ones that have been pretty intense. So this one is going to be interesting. Let's just call it that. I'm not going to assume anything because I don't want to assume your judgment on it or how you end up feeling about the cases that we read. But I personally thought they were pretty interesting. So that's that part. But like I said, I'm glad to be here. Always glad to be in front of a camera. I live for this moment that I'm able to spend some time with you guys here live, reading these cases, engaging, communicating. With that in mind, dude, we'll just jump into the informative part. I'll talk a little bit, have one or two things, just have to get off my chest, but it's mostly just like random things, don't really have anything to do with true crime, but you know where to find me for the King Angel Show. It's not Twitter anymore. I'm still used to not calling it X, but whatever. X, Threads, Discord, join that Discord, King Angel Show. Watch movies, album listens, whole bunch of other things. It's linked to Patreon, which is $2 a month. That's the best way for you to support me. I am trying to grow that community as much as possible, and I am currently linking all of the audio versions of episodes that are on Patreon to Spotify as well, so easier access to listen to those audio episodes. I'm still trying to figure a way to, I guess, put it behind a paywall or something, but I guess not. I'm not going to be able to do it. There's no way to put a paywall on Spotify. I mean, they're already taking people's money and artists and whatnot. What is it, like a penny? What is it, a penny every 1,000 streams or something? Yeah, I'm good. Oh, I just realized that, the music wasn't on. I apologize for that. I normally have music for the intro. I like to have some chill hop playing in the back, so I didn't have it for this time. I apologize. Facebook, hi. How you guys doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Click on that follow button. I want to see those numbers grow. I'm at 17. I've had the same numbers for a while. I need to give Facebook a little bit more love, but all the live streams are there as well. So I mean, it's not like you're really missing anything. Actually, now that I think about it, every single episode that I've done should be on Facebook. So if you're there, follow me, and you'll get access to the live streams if you want to see them in the comfort of Facebook. See? Look how nice I am. YouTube. There's the true crime episode, which is this one, the one you're watching me on now. The King Angel Show, which is the main channel. That's where we have all of the reviews and reactions for music videos, movie trailers, different topics. When it comes to like reviews and whatnot, there's a video about like interesting facts, past true crime like clips that I've taken out of old live streams and whatnot. I left it there because some of them are interesting, but you can definitely see the progression of the show if you check out those really early videos of mine. Call it a baby streamer angel. Yeah, you'll see how I stood in my living room, and it just progressed to the point where now I have like the green screen in back of me and whatnot. So, yay, a round of applause for me, I guess. As I was saying, Twitch. What's happening, Twitch? What's going on? Hope everyone is doing well over on that very weird platform. Because Twitch is losing its popularity. I don't know. It just there's so many other streaming platforms at the moment right now that it's hard to keep up with all of them. Some are a lot more popular than others, but when I started streaming, I could tell that Twitch was already at its beginnings of end. So you can kind of tell that slowly that progression towards less viewers on the platform and people migrating to other streaming platforms and whatnot. There's Kick and there's obviously YouTube as well, but variety of platforms, but it gets overwhelming after a point. But you can still subscribe to my YouTube channel. Sorry, to my Twitch channel. I did mention YouTube, the one that you're watching me on now, King Angel Show, which is the main channel. I forgot to mention Coffee the News and Us. That's the third channel that I have. True Crime and That Coffee the News and Us channels are subs of the main channel, which is the King Angel Show. What I was going to say about Twitch was you can follow me on Twitch, or you can subscribe to my channel using your Amazon Prime. Bam. If not, just follow me. It'll notify you when I go live. So that's a win-win situation there, because you don't miss out on a live stream and I have an audience. Bam. Win-win. YouTube. I did mention those 3 channels. Please subscribe to my channels. Like my videos. Comment on them. Let me know what you think. Give a holler. What's up? TikTok. I have one for true crime, which is the main one, and the one that's progressing a lot more than the King Angel Show. Listen, I was scared about doing the whole niche thing, but I ended up taking it to that level because where I was, I just wasn't getting any traction. But once I started doing true crime specifically, bro, I forget that the topic is so I guess alluring to people, and there's just so many things that happen in so many cases and whatnot that it's just, I mean, it sucks. It should be to the point where we don't have to go through something like this, because we as human beings have already progressed to the point where, you know, that's a thing of the past. But nonetheless, we live in a time and a place where we all, as a community, because I'm not going to talk of others without including myself, because obviously you're here for true crime tonight. I'm here for true crime tonight, and the whole point is that we're going to be reading True Crime Daily and talking about all these cases and watching videos and whatnot. But yeah, it's the essence of everything is the fact that, yeah, I guess my best decision was going down that true crime niche. Here I am. The whole sub-channel dedicated to true crime. And I'm loving it. Every single minute. Coffee the News and Us has become a little bit harder to do at the moment. Obviously because it was originally a morning show and now I work. So, you know, back in the job market. So, wow. 6 months of just bliss and beauty. I don't think I'm ever going to have that time again. That period and moment in my life where it was just the perfect time. Like, it was, the stars aligned for me. And yeah, I'll probably never get that again. Grateful that it happened. I, went through a whole bunch of shit, but I feel like I grew a whole bunch, and I'm in a better position mentally and physically, albeit I don't do exercise or anything. But nonetheless, oh, what a time to be alive. And that's why we're in the job market again. Gotta pay bills somehow, Albeit I was very happy and everything was going very great, and I wish that the luck of lucks would have been me winning the lottery and just completely extending that period of time in my life where I'm gonna have to be employed again, but that didn't happen. That did not happen. I like the job. I really do. I really like the actual facility. I like what I do. It's kind of a very manual position, but it allows me to listen to music and hear audiobooks. I mean, amongst all the other benefits that I get. Truth be told, this is the first job I've ever had in all my years of living in the U.S., in all my life, that I have health insurance. 39 years, never had health insurance in this country. Never had a job that gave me health insurance. Hell, I never had a job that even tried to give me health insurance, let alone have it available for me. But luckily, I found a place, and I mean, I guess the pay isn't the best, but health insurance is really important. It fucking sucks. Listen, before we start, I'm on TikTok a lot. I love TikTok. And not so much as I don't see it so much as a social media app as opposed to seeing it as just like a hub of diverse types of information and like different realities and whatnot. And I came across this video of this person, and well, it was a stitch. Someone else was talking about the video, and she was talking about drinking borax. Listen, I'm not one to tell people what to do. You can do whatever you want with your life, but making a video and posting it on a informative app like TikTok that spreads messages so quickly, that's very dangerous. It's a shame, because if the country would do more for healthcare, we wouldn't find ourselves in situations where people have to come up with alternatives to try to make themselves like feel better physically because they're in pain. You can't really judge someone that takes these weird things. Listen, if you don't know what borax is, that shit it's a laundry detergent. You can go to the supermarket, you can go to Target right now. You can go to like Walmart or no, I don't know where you buy your things, but like your cleaning supplies and whatnot. But borax, you can find it there. It's a white box like this. It's like yay high. It says borax right on the front. It has like a sunshine. It's like an open window and whatnot. It's a chemical. It's like you're not supposed to ingest that at all. Yet there are people that are like advising other people to drink this shit, mix it with water and whatnot. You would think, damn, these people are crazy. Why would someone do that? But like that's the thing. Like that's it. Yeah, it's the fact that you don't got healthcare. How do you survive with something like that? Like what do you do? Would people get like bills for like hundreds and thousands of dollars for like health insurance and like medical necessities and whatnot? Bro, just until the other day when Biden signed the insulin thing, like, was the insulin like $600 or something? That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. So just the way I see it, there has to be some sort of other option. That's why there's so many things like holistic and like natural medicine and all that shit. There's just so many things like home remedies and stuff. And okay, albeit, home remedies, I get it. There are lots of things that you can do that you can just like concoctions that you can come up with at home and whatnot that help with different ailments that you have and whatnot. But dude, borax, that is a clear sign that there's something really wrong going on with society. Not society, the people, but like a society as like the government, like the upper hands, like people in higher positions. What is happening? Why are these people not taking care of all of us? Think about it. And just like that borax video, there's a lot of other videos of people that are just coming up with weird shit. What is it, mercury? I saw another video of someone drinking mercury. Again, you can't judge a person because they go to those extremes. A lot of people like to, if you go to the comment section, a lot of people like to insult these people and you're fucking stupid and shit. It's like, dude, it's not that they're fucking stupid. It's not that anyone's stupid. It's just that the healthcare system is so bad that you don't have sort of like another choice. You don't have money to pay health insurance, and if you don't have a job that offers you health insurance, it's like, how are you gonna pay for that shit? Health insurance, one person, like a premium, is like $600 every like 2 months or 3. Like, how are people supposed to pay that? There's no wonder people drink borax and fucking Tide Pods and shit. How are you supposed to sustain yourself and pay medical bills like that? It's crazy. Listen, little tangent there, but nonetheless, it's just it's crazy how there's just people that accept this. Like, how could you just accept something like that? It's like, other countries have healthcare and like they can, the bare minimum. That's like the bare minimum that you can give to people. So I'm happy and I'm glad that I finally have health insurance. I celebrated it when I got the email and shit, and I've never gone through any like plans or anything like that. Listen, even when I was making good money, I didn't even think about getting health insurance because of just how expensive it is. I just didn't think it was worth it like that. Yeah, you might think it is, and chat, you might not agree with me on that one, but yo, listen, again, I don't know if you could pay $600 out of your pocket like that. If you can, dude, more power to you. Good for you. But like regular tax-paying people in this country, bro, we can't pay $600 out of our paychecks for something like that. That's impossible. So yeah, I don't know, man. I had that in my head. Also, real quick, last thing I'm gonna say before we start. I feel like, I don't know. One of the ways that I think that you can have a little bit more love for yourself is accepting that you don't have a fucking choice. I was thinking about that. I think it was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. You don't have a choice. All you have is yourself. You gotta look yourself in the mirror. I think that's one of the reasons why you also have to be mindful of what you do in life, because you have to deal with yourself and you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day and have to live with whatever it is that you do or did. I don't know. Once you accept that all you have is yourself and there's nothing you can do to change that, and you're stuck with who you are. Obviously, you can improve, but you're stuck with you. You might as well just love yourself. I don't know. That's the way I see it. I thought about that as watching another video there, and it just got me thinking about it. Thought I would share it today on stream. So, if there's anything you remember from today, from watching this stream, is just remember that. Love yourself, because you don't have a fucking choice. All you have is you. That's it. My case, all I have are my balls and my word, and I don't break any of those two for anyone. Bam. Scarface, if you haven't seen that movie yet. Classic. Alright, we're going to jump into tonight's episode. Join the Discord. Let's continue the conversation there. The King Angel Show. That link is in the description box. All the links are in the description box of this live stream or in the About section of the stream if you're watching me over on Twitch. I think we should start. I think would be the best time to jump into some true crime. I'm going to switch over to the screen. This time I remembered I'm going to stop this music. I'm going to drink some water. And I don't know if you noticed, but... oh, well, I guess you can see it better now. The bear I have on, I guess it has like a shade of green on it. I didn't realize it, so you're going to see it a little bit transparent. It's pretty fucking awesome. Me personally, I love that effect. Alright, ladies and gents. People and people. He, she, they, them. We're starting this tonight. True Crime Daily. Bam. So this is the first one I was talking... first case I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. When I was doing the intro. This is the Microsoft executive that was killed. We're going to jump into this first stream, and we're going to Florida. Ex-wife indicted in shooting death of Microsoft exec who was killed in targeted ambush. True Crime Daily, published August 17th, 2023, and we are in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. The ex-wife of a man who was fatally shot last year after dropping his kids off at her home is now being accused of playing a role in his death. On Thursday, August 17th, 4th Judicial Circuit State Attorney Melissa Nelson announced a grand jury returned an indictment charging Shanna Gardner with first-degree murder, solicitation to commit first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and child abuse in connection with the death of 33-year-old Jared Britigan. Nelson said, "We promised at the outset of this investigation we would not relent until we uncovered the truth of Jared's murder, the whole and entire truth." ATF agents arrested Gardner in West Richland, Washington, and she will be extradited to Florida. Nelson said her office will file a notice of intent to seek the death penalty if Gardner is convicted. Gardner's husband, Mario Fernandez Saldana, was arrested in March also on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, solicitation to commit a capital felony, and child abuse. The state attorney's office is also seeking the death penalty against Fernandez Saldana. Just before Fernandez Saldana was indicted, his alleged co-conspirator, Henry Tenon, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and agreed to testify against any accomplice. On February 16, 2022, Britigan had a date-night dinner with his and Gardner's 9-year-old twins and his 2-year-old daughter from his new marriage. He dropped off the twins at Gardner and Fernandez Saldana's house, then continued to drive home. He was on a dark stretch of Sanctuary Boulevard and saw a tire in the street. When he got out of the car to move the tire, he was gunned down and killed. The 2-year-old girl, who who was still strapped into her car seat, was not harmed. The affidavit, however, says bullets struck the interior of the vehicle in close proximity to where the child was strapped into her car, an act that reasonably could have been expected to cause physical or mental injury to her. Jacksonville Beach police arrested Tenon in January on charges of conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree murder, child abuse, and accessory after the fact. At a press conference announcing the arrest, Chief Gene Smith said Britigan was gunned down in cold blood. He called the shooting a planned and targeted ambush. According to WJXT-TV, Britigan's wife, Kristen Britigan, said after the indictment announcement, "For 547 days, we hoped and prayed that this day would come. Shanna's arrest ends one horrific chapter of our pursuit for justice for Jared, and now we opened a new one. This next chapter will be excruciating. We are confident in the ability of the state's attorney's office and law enforcement to bring truth to light. We expect to see justice carried out to the fullest extent of the law." Damn. Let's see. Jacksonville always reminds me of, I've said this before here on other streams, it always reminds me of Ash Williams, because he's from Jacksonville. If you don't know Ash Williams, that's the protagonist of the Evil Dead series. Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, and Ash versus Evil Dead. Classic. But in one of the episodes of the show, he talks about Jacksonville, Florida. Actually, he sings a song about it. Pretty interesting. If you haven't checked it out and you like the series, I highly recommend. If you don't, I would still recommend it. It's very entertaining, pretty gory, but very entertaining, and it's Bruce Campbell, so can't go wrong with Bruce Campbell. So we're checking out news4jax.com. This title says, ex-wife of Jared Britigan indicted on first-degree murder charge. Ex-wife of Jared Britigan indicted on first-degree murder charge and conspiracy that led to ambush shooting. All right, let's watch this video real quick. I'm going to put it up a little bit here, so it's going to be right above my head.
This is the indictment for Shanna Gardner. We just got it from the state attorney's office after we requested it, and it shows this is the indictment for Shanna Gardner.
The screen looks completely blurred. You can't really see anything, so it just looks like it looks blank with just like some very light shade of gray that you could kind of like think that it's where the text is. But I put it back because I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me. But no, it's actually that you can't really see anything. I don't know if you can notice.
We just got it from the state attorney's office after we requested it, and it shows the charges that she is facing right now. It also shows that a local grand jury formally connected her to the horrific murder here in South Jacksonville Beach. Tonight, on this rainy Thursday evening, there is still a sign asking for justice for Jared. There are pictures of him with his family members, and as we were standing here, a neighbor drove up with these flowers. She said she's praying for his loved ones.
If you knew Jared, you knew that he does not give up. He's very focused, and he would make sure that our family got justice while we're still living.
An emotional and grateful Britigan family. We spoke with his widow, siblings, and parents after news of a third arrest in the case.
So we are very grateful to be here, and we just know that we got to buckle up and be ready for what's coming.
State Attorney Melissa Nelson and Jacksonville Beach detectives announced the indictment and arrest of Britigan's ex-wife, Shanna Gardner, 547 days after his murder.
We promised at the outset of this investigation we would not relent until we uncovered the truth of Jared's murder, the whole and entire truth.
ATF agents arrested her in West Richland, Washington this morning. a remote place she moved to with the twins she shared with Bridegan after coming under fire for the murder. Investigators say Gardner played a central and key role in the cold-blooded killing 18 months ago after Bridegan dropped the twins off at her Jacksonville Beach home. He stopped on this wooded stretch just miles away to move a tire that had been left in the road. That's when police say his killers ambushed him. His 2-year-old daughter, Bexley, was in the back seat of his SUV but wasn't hurt. He had a newborn child at home.
It's been a broken world. February 16th was a broken, it just seemed like everything just broke. And today it feels a little bit better. It feels like we can do this.
Police arrested Gardner's husband, Mario Fernandez, in March. He's facing the same charges. His tenant at a home he owned, Henry Tenon, marked the first arrest in the case. That was in February. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder after detectives found handwritten checks that Fernandez wrote to him after the killing. Now the Bridegan family is pleading with Shanna Gardner's family members to reconnect them with Jared's twins.
Hearts and minds. I've been with Liam and Abby since the day of Jared's murder, but especially now.
Knowing these children have lost not one, but 2 parents in this brutal scheme. State Attorney Melissa Nelson tells us she plans to seek the death penalty against Gardner and Fernandez. She did not want to release any more details about evidence in the case because she says she didn't want to compromise what they are going to be doing in the court system coming up. As for Gardner, she is currently behind bars in Washington State, awaiting extradition to here in Florida. I did reach out to her attorney, Hank Cox. He told me he had no comment. In Jacksonville Beach, I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.
You know, I'm a little confused here. This article says, okay, so Shanna Gardner was indicted Thursday morning by a grand jury in Florida and later arrested in Washington State. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which is ATF, agents arrested her in West Richland, Washington, where she moved with the twins she shared with Brigham. ATF's Jacksonville field office had been assisting Jacksonville Beach Police Department detectives since early in the investigation. I didn't even know that they had like agents like that helped police. That's crazy. Isn't that a little bit weird? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems so out of place that a bureau that is in charge of I guess firearms, because it was a shooting. Maybe that's why. But let's see. I'm curious to find out what the protocol is. Okay, so I wrote in Google search, I just copy pasted Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF agents help police. And it says ATF's highly trained agents are responsible for investigating violations of federal laws relating to firearms, explosives, arson, and alcohol, and tobacco diversion. They rely on a combination of tactical, analytical, and intelligence gathering skills to identify leads that will support criminal cases. I don't understand. But what difference does this do? That, like, what is the difference between this bureau and, like, isn't it, I don't understand. Isn't that like what police do? I guess what my question is, what gives this specific bureau the authority to, like, basically? But cause those are things that happen with, like, normal police. So I'm just, I don't know, I'm confused about it. So I'm gonna go into the website, see what it says. No, I'm not signing up to anything. Okay, so this is atf.gov. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and it says what we do. And it says ATF's responsibilities include the investigation and prevention of federal offenses involving the unlawful use, manufacture, and possession of firearms and explosives, acts of arson and bombings, and illegal trafficking of alcohol and tobacco products. The ATF also regulates via licensing the sale, possession, and transportation of firearms, ammunition, and explosives in interstate commerce. Many of ATF's activities are carried out in conjunction with task forces made up of state and local law enforcement officers, such as Project Safe Neighborhoods. ATF operates a unique fire research laboratory in Beltsville, Maryland, where full-scale mock-ups of criminal arson can be reconstructed. Interesting. Maybe it's because, again, it was a shooting, but I don't know. Maybe at some point I did read something like this, but at the moment I don't remember having read any other case that had this bureau involved in it. So I don't know, caught me by surprise, but oh well. Let's watch this next video of the same case, and then we'll move on to another case. This is when they, I guess, arrested Shannon. Is that her name? Yeah, Shanna. Sorry. Shanna Gardner. Sorry. Keep it up here.
News4Jack's I-Team investigator Vic Michelucci sat down with Bridegan's brother and widow today as they reflect on this latest arrest.
When did you begin suspecting Shanna was going to be arrested and charged for this?
Jared was a very kind person. He did not have enemies. He wasn't involved in any shady things. You know, in Shanna's interview last year, she mentioned we ran in different circles, her and Jared. Yeah, you did. And he was in good company.
Jared Bridegan's widow, Kirsten, has strong words for 36-year-old Shanna Gardner and Gardner's husband, 35-year-old Mario Fernandez. Both are now charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder. Brother Adam Bridegan is grateful for this development.
I would just say that I feel right now a sense of relief, a small bit of peace, that the pain has transferred. The pain of not knowing and wondering if everyone would be, put behind bars. That pain will now transition to, are we going to fully get justice? Is everything going to play out right? But we can't control that.
Solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
State Attorney Melissa Nelson, flanked by a team of detectives from Jacksonville Beach and the ATF, announced Gardner's arrest yesterday in Washington State. She moved there with the two children she shared with Bridegan after the killing. Body camera footage from the Orange County Sheriff's Office shows the March 16th arrest of Fernandez. He's calm and conversational with deputies as they take him to jail.
Sir, one more question. Can I get in contact with my brother about my dogs?
Where are your dogs?
I have 3 dogs. They're at a townhouse, but I just need my brother to be able to take care of them.
The first arrest came in February when police caught Henry Tenen, a man who rented a room from Fernandez. He has since pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, agreeing to cooperate against the co-defendants. Careful not to compromise the case, Bridegan's loved ones say they're not backing down in their push for justice.
Justice in the legal system, for me, looks like the harshest punishment available. You know, they took a life of a father, of a loving husband. They took a father away from 4 children, a son away from parents, a brother away from siblings, an uncle. They took a lot. And so for them, the least that I expect to happen is that their life is now spent behind bars, where they can think about everything that they've done to our family, our friends, and the children.
I did reach out to Gardner's attorney. He told me yesterday that he had no comment about the pending case. Have also spoken with the attorney for Fernandez in the past. He says he's going to let the facts play out in the courtroom, not in the public. I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.
Damn. Man, that sucks. what the worst part is? The fact that, dude, those kids are gonna be raised without like one of their parents. That sucks. That fucking sucks. Not that it was something natural or, you know, shit happens. Fortunate things happen at times, you know, natural things. Life is odd and weird like that at times, but bro, to have someone taken away from you like that, I think some people just don't fail to realize that, you know, a lot of people are loved, not like excessively, but we'll take this person for example. Like, dude, he was fucking loved, you know, his family, he had his wife, his kids and shit, and bro, like, that's a family that they'll just never be the same again. That's it. All it took was someone being taken from them to just like ruin it for who knows how many people. And this is just like one singular case. Just imagine like the numerous amounts of cases that we've covered here happen on a daily basis. Like, just like regular old people that are living their lives day by day. And yeah, I don't know, man. I feel for the family. Damn, I feel for those kids, man. They're gonna have to be raised without a dad because of someone else. Fucking crazy. Yeah. Wishing and hoping that the family finds some type of comfort and are able to carry on with their lives, you know, however way they can. Move on to the next case. We are going to Ohio. It says, literal hell on wheels. Teen convicted of killing friend by driving 100 miles per hour into wall. True Crime Daily, published August 17th, 2023. We're going to Strongsville, Ohio. A judge found a 19-year-old girl guilty of several counts of murder and other charges for crashing her speeding car into a brick wall and killing her 20-year-old boyfriend and his friend. The Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office announced August 14th that Mackenzie Shirilla was convicted of 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools for the 2022 deaths of Dominic Russo and Davian Flanagan. On July 31st, 2022, at approximately 5:30 a.m., Shirilla was driving Flanagan and Russo when she accelerated her Toyota Camry to 100 miles per hour and drove into a brick building on Alameda Drive in Strongsville. A passerby saw the crash site about 45 minutes later and called 911. According to Strongsville police, the car had severe damage and full airbag deployments. Shirilla, Russo, and Flanagan were all unconscious and trapped in the car when paramedics arrived. Firefighters were able to remove the 3 of them from the vehicle, then transported Shirilla via life flight to a nearby hospital. Russo and Flanagan were pronounced dead at the scene. Shirilla was 17 years old at the time of the crash. Strongsville police arrested Shirilla on suspicion of murder and other charges on November 4th, 2022. Shirilla and Russo were in a relationship, and prosecutors argued Flanagan, Russo's friend, was just cargo and just a suitcase in the backseat in the defendant's mind, WKYC TV reports. Judge Nancy Margaret Russo presided over the bench trial, meaning the case was argued in front of the judge and not a jury. According to WKYC, Russo told Shirilla prior to announcing her verdict, this was not reckless driving, this was murder. Russo said video from the crash clearly shows the purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction that day. Russo added, she morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street. The judge argued Sherilla was on a mission when she caused the crash, that she did it with precision. Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley told WKYC, evidence showed Sherilla made no attempt to slow down or stop, that it was full speed into a building and tragically it cost 2 people their lives. Flanagan's mom said she is thankful for the verdict, but believes there are no winners here today. O'Malley said Sherilla will be sentenced August 21st. Shit. That was definitely intentional. Holy shit. WKYC.com. This was not reckless driving. This was murder. Mackenzie Sherilla found guilty in deadly Strongsville crash. Wow. I'm thinking, like, what was going on through this person's mind that she intentionally drove into a wall like that? Did you understand how... Well, obviously she was going 100 miles per hour. But, I mean, just think about it. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Dang it, I can't put the Mythbusters one because it's copyright. Let's see. Okay. Oh, jeez. I did not see that it was Inside Edition. It says it right there. I can't play Inside Edition because it's copyright as well. So most likely, just because of that sound, like the beginning of the episode, whatever the hell they were going to show there in that video, that's probably going to cost me a copyright on this video. YouTube does not play with that at all. So I apologize for it starting and me just taking it off really quickly. Let's see this one. And again, for this one, it's a crash test 40 miles per hour versus 56 miles per hour. So this isn't even close to how fast she was going. In order, when she crashed into the wall, it was 100 miles per hour and she killed 2 people. Let's watch this video again. This is only 40 miles per hour versus 56 miles per hour. I mean, woo. Okay, so that's 40 miles per hour. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Crappy music, bro. Look. But mind you, the article says that all of the airbags were deployed in the vehicle. Dude, just look at the comparison. 40-50. 56 was like, you wouldn't even think that at 56 you would cause something to, like, an accident like this. Like, you would crash and the vehicle would be kept in this, like, this man. I'm sorry. I'm just watching this. Holy shit, that's crazy. She was going 100 miles per hour. Wow. Insane. Sorry, it has no audio because it has some type of like, what is it? Whatever the hell that's called. I forgot the name of that. Wow, that's crazy. Mind you, this isn't a controlled environment. They're literally like they have everything under surveillance. I don't know if you noticed that, right? Like underneath the SUV, it has like it has something attached to it, so the vehicle won't shift to any other side, causing like a bigger accident and whatnot. But again, this is only to get an idea of how fast is actually fast. So 50 miles per hour. She was going 100 and she crashed into a wall. Dude, look at that. Ooh. Fuck, that is crazy, dude. And while, you know, you can argue that there's not such a great difference between 50 miles per hour and 56, but you can still notice it. Now, let me put it back a little bit. So this is right before it crashes. Look at the driver's side front part of the vehicle. See? Only 6 miles per hour more. That's it. So let's see. Let's see if we can find something else. Okay, so I don't know. This is motor one. They probably have like that weird let's see. Oh. Boo. Okay. Crash test, Ford Focus, 120 miles per hour. She was going 100 miles per hour when she crashed into the wall. This is 120. Let's see what 120 looks like crashing into a wall. This is crazy. I'm going to try putting audio on it, see if it has like music or like anything copyrighted. I'm just going to have to mute it, but crossing fingers, hopefully it's just like someone talking.
This is it.
Of course not, because they had to add those sound effects and everything, but nonetheless.
Focus is obliterated on impact. Only.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. 120 miles per hour. She was going at 100, so damn, just the conditions of the car could have been just a little bit not as bad as what we're seeing right now with this Ford Focus, but holy shit, just look at the impact. Oh, wait. It already happened. Okay. No, they do the repeat. I mean, I don't think the dummies inside are all in one piece. The car is completely smushed. That's crazy. I mean, look. Hold on. Maybe just look at the conditions of the car. Ah, shit. It's right behind my head. I want to move. Dude, it looks like a transformer. I mean, this is one tire here. Look at the other tire right there. But the car in and of itself is just like one blob. Again, this is 120 miles per hour. Full blown into a wall. And this is the case that we're reading now. She was going 100 miles per hour with 2 other people in the vehicle. Per the article, she didn't even care about the person that was sitting behind. So that person that was sitting behind was a third wheel that was probably already pissed off that he had to go out with a couple. Man, that sucks, dude. I mean, wow. Okay, so this is the car. I guess they're explaining oof. So look, that's supposed to, damn it. That's supposed to be the dummy. Not anymore. I'll tell you that much. Wow. So now we understand why she was found guilty. Now we can grasp why she has so many charges against her. I mean, it's obvious that this was completely done on purpose. It's 100 miles per hour driving into a wall, and we just saw what 120 miles per hour looks like crashing into a inanimate object that is like solid. Yo, that wall didn't even move. It didn't even twitch. Hell, the paint was still on it. Yet we saw the conditions of the vehicle.
On all counts, that is the verdict from Judge Nancy Russo in the trial of a Strongsville teen, who the judge ruled
holy cannoli, dude.
Mackenzie Shirella is pulled.
Dude, look at the car. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back a little bit and then I'll just press play.
From Judge Nancy Russo in the trial of a Strongsville teen, who the judge ruled intentionally crashed her car, killing 2. Mackenzie Shirella has now been convicted of killing her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and a friend, Davion Flanagan.
Shirella was visibly shaken as the verdict was read, and she realized what was happening there. Our Kai Torque has been following this case as it unfolded. He tells us exactly what happened today in the courtroom.
Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful.
Yes, they were.
This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
19-year-old Mackenzie Shirella crying uncontrollably as the judge declared her guilty on multiple counts of murder in the deaths of her 20-year-old boyfriend Dominic Russo and his 19-year-old friend Davion Flanagan. She was convicted on all 12 charges she was facing, including those of felonious assault and aggravated vehicular homicide.
She had a mission and she executed it with precision.
The judge said Shirella, who was 17 at the time of the crash, had morphed from a responsible driver with 2 passengers into, quote, literal hell on wheels down an obscure route that she had just visited a few days before, pushing the pedal to the floor, demanding an ultimate speed of 100 miles per hour. The intent was obvious upon seeing that video. At the time of the crash, had morphed from a responsible driver with 2 passengers into, quote, literal hell on wheels down an obscure route that she had just visited a few days before, pushing the pedal to the floor, demanding an ultimate speed of 100 miles per hour.
The intent was obvious upon seeing that video, that there was only one goal, and the computer demonstrated that there was no attempt to slow down or stop, that it was full speed into a building, and said tragically it cost 2 people their lives.
The prosecution says Sharilla crashed the car in July 2022 to end her toxic and tumultuous relationship with Russo, and that Flanagan was just backseat cargo. Flanagan's mother telling us today she agrees with that take.
We are just thankful that we feel justice was served today. There's not a day that goes by that we don't miss our son, and justice was served for him today. But honestly, there's no winners here. There's no winners here today.
Sharilla's defense attorney wouldn't comment on the verdict, but her mother told us she's shocked by the murder conviction and completely disagrees with the judge. Sharilla's sentencing is set for next Monday. Christy.
All right, Kaito, we appreciate all the information you've been bringing us on this. Thank you so much.
Hold on.
Are guilty on, including those who was 17 at the time of the crash, had morphed from a responsible driver with 2 passengers.
Dude, I'm gonna put this bigger. I holy shit. Okay, so just going around the corner. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear the audio again.
Driver with 2 passengers who was 17 at the time of the crash had morphed from a responsible driver with 2 passengers into, quote, literal hell on wheels down an obscure route that she had just visited a few days before, pushing the pedal to the floor, demanding an ultimate speed of 100 miles per hour.
Dude, look at the wall.
Ultimate speed of 100.
Holy shit. Wow, I wonder what was going through this person's head. Well, I mean, they did say it. She says that...
The prosecution says Sharilla crashed the car in July 2022 to end her toxic and tumultuous relationship with Russo, and that Flanagan was just backseat cargo.
Wow, dude. Not only was this person involved and lost his life in something that didn't have anything to do with him, they called him backseat baggage. Wow, that was incredibly irresponsible. And holy shit, that is attempted murder. Like, nah, it's murder because she killed him. She did, so it's murder. That's why she's going to jail. She has all those counts. She's, what is it? Okay, so 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools for the 2022 deaths of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. You know, when I was growing up, I had a friend. He dated this chick, and they were one of those couples. They were one of those that were always, that you knew that they were like toxic for each other and shit, and you could obviously tell that they were not fit for each other. Yet they insisted on being with each other, and I remember being in a situation kind of similar to this one, but. Thankfully, and like obviously, you know, it didn't get to this point, but I was worried. And I was sitting in the back seat. I was pretty worried, but it didn't get to this point. But I don't know. Doesn't matter how like toxic the relationship is. It's just. There should be a line drawn that, you know, should be kind of common sense. You know, that's it. the relationship is over. That's it. There's just if it's over, it's over. But wow, 100 miles per hour against the wall. We saw the security camera video. Yeah, she was definitely going 100 miles per hour. That was definitely intentional. It's not as if she was already driving at that speed and ended up crashing into the wall. Wow. Whew. Crazy. And she had drugs on her too. Alrighty, let's go to Texas. Texas woman sentenced for dismembering soldier and disposing of her remains. Published August 15th, 2023. We're reading from True Crime Daily, and this is from Waco, Texas. It says a federal judge sentenced a 25-year-old woman to 3 decades in prison for her role in helping her boyfriend dismember U.S. Army Vanessa Guillen and dispose of her remains. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Texas, Cecily Aguilar will spend 30 years in federal prison after she pleaded guilty to accessory to murder after the fact and 3 counts of false statement or representation, which is the maximum sentence she could have received. Aguilar was indicted July 14th, 2020, on charges of conspiracy to tamper with evidence and 2 additional counts of tampering with evidence. Guillen was last seen April 22nd, 2020, at the Regimental Engineer Squadron Headquarters parking lot in the 3rd Cavalry Regiment of Fort Hood, now known as Fort Cavazos. The Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division, which is CID, said in a statement, Texas Rangers, CID detectives, and other law enforcement agencies discovered human remains June 30th, 2020, at the Leon River in Bell County. Officials identified a suspect, and, according to the statement, while law enforcement agencies, minus Army CID special agents, attempted to make contact with the suspect reportedly displayed a weapon and took his own life. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Texas identified the suspect as U.S. Army, Specialist Aaron Robinson. I apologize if I said that wrong. Aguilar's criminal complaint says Robinson was the last person to see Guillen alive before she disappeared. Guillen reportedly went to an arms room that Robinson controlled. Records show the two of them contacted each other several times throughout April 22nd, 2020. Robinson was Aguilar's boyfriend, and he told investigators he was with Aguilar that night and didn't leave her home except for when he needed to come back to a computer to sign up for training. 2 witnesses, however, told investigators they saw Robinson pulling a large, tough box with wheels that appeared very heavy in weight. When Aguilar spoke with investigators, she said she and Robinson took a long drive to a park in Belton, Texas, to look at the stars, quote unquote. Cell phone tracking showed Aguilar and Robinson were near the Leon River on April 23rd, 2020, and April 26th, 2020. Investigators went to the area and found a burnt site with disturbed earth, as well as burned remains of a plastic tote or tough box. The criminal complaint says the soil beneath the burn site was remarkably softer and moister than the soil found at similar depths merely feet away and had an odor of decomposition. However, no remains were located. June 30th, 2020, Aguilar said Robinson admitted that he struck a female soldier in the head with a hammer multiple times at his arms room, killing her on Fort Hood. She added, Guillen never made it out of the army alive. Due to the fact that the killing occurred on an army base, it is in federal jurisdiction. The night Guillen was killed, Robinson picked up Aguilar and took her to the Leon River. She saw a box and found Guillen's body inside when she opened it. The two dismembered Guillen's remains using a hatchet or axe and machete-type knife. They decapitated her, cut off her limbs, and burned the body, placing her body parts in 3 different holes in the area. On April 26, they returned with gloves, hairnets, and concrete, burned Guillen's remains again, and then covered the holes with concrete. On June 30th, 2020, Aguilar called Robinson, who never denied anything they did to Vanessa Guillen and her body. He texted Aguilar photos of news articles and wrote, "Baby, they found pieces. They found pieces." He fled from Fort Hood that night and shot himself. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Jaime Esparza, said, "Our hope is that today's sentence brings a sense of relief and justice to the Guillen family, who have endured such pain throughout these past few years. Ms. Aguilar's actions were indefensible, and she will now face the maximum penalty for the choices she made. I'm grateful for our law enforcement partners who worked tirelessly on this case, as their dedication was essential in bringing this defendant to justice." True Crime Daily, the podcast, covered Guillen's case, which you can watch above. Don't know why I read that last sentence. Okay. Let's see. So this is from July 1st, 2020. Aw, boo. That's the Army Criminal Investigations Division, but I don't know why it didn't let me check out the investigation update. Okay. Well, this is from the oh, wow, it's actually like reporters and stuff. I knew they had a podcast. I've never actually seen the people in the podcast, but we're gonna check it out one day. See how long it is. 16 minutes.
So Lonnie,
Woo! Sorry about that. Wow, I don't know what's going on with the volume lately.
We're staying in Texas, but we're moving over to Killeen, where Vanessa Guillen, a 20-year-old private first class at Fort Hood, has been missing since the afternoon of April 22nd, 2020. Now, there was speculation this week that there may have been a break in the case because the skeletal remains of another soldier who had been missing from Fort Hood were found nearby. These were the remains of Private Gregory Morales. He'd been missing since August of 2019, but military officials say that so far, they don't believe that there is a connection between these two. So Vanessa is all of 5 feet 2 inches tall. She weighs 126 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in a black t-shirt and purple athletic.
And she was serving this country, so thank her for her service. And on top of that, lament the fact that this happened. Tragic. Mind you, happened at Fort Hood. So, like the article says, this is now a federal investigation. You know, it's a federal jurisdiction because it happened at an army base. Yeah. This has actually been going on for quite some time now. I remember reading about this. I think it was kind of not so much at the beginning, but more when the news broke and they started talking about it a lot more, because it's not the first time that this case has made news because of the fact that it was at a army base. Sad. So I thank her for her service. And geez, people are fucking evil.
Pants. This is important because she was not in her military fatigues, because her family says that she was off this day and was called into work. And this is part of some of the suspicion around the...
I wonder if they are the owners of the website. If so, shout out to them, because this is normally where I read things for true crime. So, you know, thank you very much if you are the owners of the website. If anything, it's a win-win situation, because I thoroughly enjoy reading this to you, and at the same time it informs me about what's going on. So we're all going through this together. So I don't know their names, but if they are the creators of this website, Thank you very much, ladies. I really appreciate it.
This case as to whether she may have been lured back to the base. She was last seen sometime between 11:30 and 12:30 p.m. So 11:30 a.m., 12:30, so short window around lunchtime on April 22nd. And that would have been, she would have been seen in the parking lot of Squadron headquarters. Here's what's very bizarre. Her car keys, the room to her barracks, her military ID, and her wallet were all found in an armory room where she was working on, she was doing some kind of inventory or working on some weapons in the weapons room. So since that day and that moment, no one has heard from Vanessa. What the military is now saying, and this is quite a change of tune for them, they are now saying that they believe that there is foul play, and the Army has actually released a video making an appeal for help in this case. And here's a little bit of that.
Phantom Warriors, friends of Central Texas. I'm Major General Scott Eflon, the Deputy Commanding General of 3 Corps. And I need to share with you a burden that we have here at Fort Hood and request your assistance. On 22 April, Vanessa Guillen, PFC in the 3rd Cavalry Regiment, was at her place of duty, and around noon is the last time anyone has seen her. Since that time, we've continued to search for her, and there's an active investigation from the Criminal Investigation Command. But we want to bring Vanessa home as efficiently and as rapidly as possible. And towards that end, I'm asking for your assistance. Somebody, some person out there has the piece of information we need to bring Vanessa home. We will continue to search for our missing member of our Army family. If you're the person that has the information we need, I ask you please call 254-495-7767. We need to bring Vanessa back to our Army family and to bring her back to her family. We won't stop this effort until we're successful. And with your help, we can be successful sooner. Thank you.
Lonnie, what's interesting about this videotape and this appeal is that, one, it's being done several months after she disappeared. Yep. One flag. Flag number 2 is that it's quite an about face for the Army, because in the beginning, according to the family, they kind of just ignored this and said that there's no there.
That's actually one of the reasons why I remember this case, was because they were trying to sweep this up under the rug. Yep. Like Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me. So yeah, I remember vividly reading about the case now that I made the connection in my head, because of the fact that, yeah, they were pretty adamant that nothing had happened and that everything was okay. Not so much anymore. And I mean, not only that, I mean, it's like, you're the Army. You would think that you have like this high-tech gadgets and devices that would help you. You have way more access to this shit than we normies have access to. Yet, and I say normies as a I don't have access to. None of us have access to Army equipment, and they have shit that we could only imagine. Let's just put it that way. You're the Army, like I said. You should be able to have a lot more information than we have. You have access to like law enforcement and stuff like that. Like, you can work with them. I don't know, man. It's kind of sus that they're asking the public to help them on something that, kind of seems like it's your responsibility. She was working for you. If I have an injury at work or something happens to me at my place of work and it was not my fault, yeah, dude, that's the company's fault. Like, you have to make face and take responsibility for it. So, I don't know. It's really sus. Really sus. There was a case that was discovered recently. A dude that had that like minor living with her at a fort in I don't know what state it was. Yeah, she was living there with him. And no one said anything. And that case blew up. A lot of people are in hot waters because of it. That's all I can say. I don't know. There has to be, I guess, a better response team when it comes to situations that arise. I've always said that groups of people, regardless of where you are, there's bound to be some type of trouble because we're people, we're humans. That's what happens when human beings conjugate together. Whether it's places of living or work or whatever, you're gonna rub shoulders with people. It happens. Which is why that leads me to, hating when people say that, they're surprised that stuff happens in their town and whatnot, because shouldn't be surprised. Again, wherever there's people, human beings, anything is bound to happen. That it hasn't happened is one thing, but it could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could. And time after time, these true crime cases have agreed with me. Have agreed with me a lot. I can tell you that much. I won't leave this whole video. I'll just leave a little bit, but again, I'm going to make my own little investigation, figure out if they are the owners of this website. If they are, shout out to them.
And now it is actual foul play. So something has changed here. So, Lonnie, don't you find this about face in the military's position on what happened to Vanessa very suspicious?
Yes, and I actually find it infuriating because 2 months ago, and as we know, when someone goes missing, that is a critical time, those first, 24, 48 hours. The family
I think it's an old video.
Reported her missing. Apparently, they couldn't find her anywhere, and yet they acted like it wasn't a big deal. How does someone go missing from one of the most secure places, right? This army base, when there's supposed to be all of these checks and balances there. And for 2 months, the army just kind of shrugs their shoulders, like, we don't know where she is, but it's no big deal. Then they find the remains of the body of a soldier who went missing 10 months ago. And there's no way they can hide that, right? That's out there. So all of a sudden we have this plea of, oh, now we suspect foul play in this missing female soldier. Why they didn't suspect foul play before, because nothing's changed in her case, right? Other than they found this other missing soldier's body. So now suddenly they're going to take this seriously and say there's foul play. Why couldn't they have figured that out beforehand? Why didn't they figure that out right when she was reported missing, when there were all of these red flags we talked about? The fact that her car keys, her room key, her wallet, her ID card are all left in the armory where she was supposedly working on a day when she wasn't supposed to be working. She was called in for some reason. Her phone, her cell phone's missing. Right there is like, what's going on here? And there should be very easy ways to try and track her at that point.
Yeah, she makes a pretty good point. There's obvious things that you can, I can notice. The list of things that she said, all of her things, her personal belongings were in the arms room. Again, this is one of the most secure facilities in, you can't hear. Let me know, can you hear now? Hello, hello? Hold on, let me check. Let me know, can you hear now? Hello, hello? Mike's working on my end. How you doing tonight? Where's Worm? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so this is interesting because, again, all of her things were left in the arms room. Again, like I was saying before, this is one of the most secure facilities in the country. Hell, in the world. Any army base is secure. Like, yeah, it's heavy duty secure there. To the point where she left all her things there. She was called into work without her being on call that day, so I think it was her day off and whatnot. And there should be footage of all this happening in the most secure facility in the country. So, I don't know, man. Again, this is one of the reasons why I remember the case. It's because of when it popped and the news broke out. Yeah, dude, they were trying to sweep this under the rug a bit, and, you know, they didn't respond, I guess, quick enough to how, you know, people were expecting them to respond. It's the army. Yeah. The whole case in and of itself is insane. I'm going to leave one more minute of the ladies talking a bit, and then we'll move on to another case. Because this one does not have... It does not have a video or like a news report video. So that's why we're watching the quote-unquote owners of this website. I think they are. I would not be surprised one bit if they are not the owners of this website. But yeah, we're going to hear them talk a little more. It's pretty interesting what they're saying. I'm going to put it back a little bit. Let's hear the list of the things that were found in that arms room.
All left in the armory were, oh, now we suspect foul play in this missing female soldier. Why they didn't suspect foul play before? Because nothing's changed in her case, right? Other than they found this other missing soldier's body. So now suddenly they're going to take this seriously and say there's foul play. Why couldn't they have figured that out beforehand? Why didn't they figure that out right when she was reported missing, when there were all of these red flags we talked about? The fact that her car keys, her room key, her wallet, her ID card are all left in the armory where she was supposedly working on a day when she wasn't supposed to be working. She was called in for...
The Chris Watts case. If you don't know Chris Watts, one of the worst cases ever. I've talked about it before here, and I did an episode of True Crime just like early last year about it. If you don't know Chris Watts, again, monster of monsters, killed his wife, 3 lovely daughters, because he wanted to be with another woman. When the police, I think it was only one law enforcement officer that arrives to the home when her best friend calls the police to report her missing because she was pregnant, and they had arrived at the house late in the morning that same day. It's like 2 a.m. But her friend was going to take her to a doctor's appointment, and the wife's name is Shanann. She wasn't picking up the phone. When the police officer, there's a reason why I'm saying this. When the police officer went inside the house, one of the triggers for him that automatically had, like, he was questioning the whole situation and everything that Chris was saying, was because they had found like all her things. They found her personal belongings, her cell phone. I mean, she has kids, so mind you, a grown adult leaving their home without any of their personal belongings, any of their IDs, no cell phone, no wallet, no purse in her case, nothing. Everything was at the house. Again, was an automatic trigger for that first red flag that popped up. I mean, maybe not first, that third red flag that popped up in that whole scenario that was happening. We can equate it to this. All of her personal belongings were left in the arms room. Like her car keys were there, her house keys, her ID. I mean, if you go into a house and you find someone's house keys there, but you don't find the person there, yeah, you should probably call 911. If all the person's belongings are there and that person is nowhere to be found, something happened. Because, again, there's no way a grown adult, like, you can leave your cell phone, or maybe you can leave, like, your ID or something, but for you to leave your house with absolutely nothing, not even your wedding ring, in Shanann's case, because she was married, she had left her wedding ring at home. Oh, it was at the house. Yeah. All those are red flags that pop up automatically. And yeah, you should call the cops. Something's wrong. Something is not adding up. The math ain't mathing, if that's the case. Again, this was all at Fort Hood. So it happened at Fort Hood in Texas. And Texas, right? Yeah. Yeah, because she was found. The cell phone tracking showed Aguilar and Robinson were near the Leon River on April 23rd, 2020. Wow. Crazy, because during that time, like, the world was at halt. This is April, like, the end of April 2020, so damn. All right. Again, I put the video back a little bit, but we'll just hear a little bit more and then we'll move on to the other case.
Some reason.
Today's a long episode, so sit back, relax, because we got time.
Her cell phone's missing. Right there is like, what's going on here? And there should be very easy ways to try and track her at that point. You know, track the cell phone. Look at surveillance video from around the base. They supposedly have check-ins on the base, you know, at certain times throughout the day. Where was she during that time? Who called her in to work? There are so many things they could have been checking right then. Talk to the family, because the family had some interesting information about her, you know, as far as she had told her mother that she was being sexually harassed by a superior on the base. Right there, you have a person of interest. Look into that. There's a lot that the Army could have been doing right off the bat. And yet they didn't do it for 2 months.
Well, what I find very troubling is that I believe Fort Hood has to be one of the most secure places on the planet, because there have been 2 massacres on that base that took place in 2009 and in 2014. And for those who don't remember, I mean, these were horrific shootings that took place. In 2009, 13 people were shot dead and 30 people were injured when an Army psychiatrist went on a rampage. Then in 2014, an enlisted man killed 3 people, wounded 16, and then he killed himself. So given that there have been these massacres on the base, there is no way that you can convince me that there isn't a camera on every square inch of that military base, and that they don't know who is going in and who is leaving every second of every day.
That's what I said.
Those 2 events.
Dude, Fort Hood is one of the most secure facilities in the country. I mean, she said the planet. I don't speak to the whole world. It could probably be true. I wouldn't be surprised, but wait, what did she say?
9 and in 2014. And for those who don't remember, I mean, these were horrific shootings that took place. In 2009, 13 people were shot dead and 30 people.
Okay, so 2009 Fort Hood. Oh shit, okay. Wow, that was really quick. Wow. I do not remember this at all. I don't know if you could hear that. I'm sorry. The kids are on vacay, and like not my kids. I mean, like, in general. I guess the whole apartment complex. I'm literally, my wife and I are the only ones without kids. And yeah, they're just like living summertime. But I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, it screams really loud. But all right, nonetheless, I thought this was a video. I'm sorry, I was waiting for it to like load up, but no, it's not. Okay, we are reading from kwtx.com. This was 10 minutes of gunfire 10 years ago left 13 dead, more than 30 injured. Okay, so it says 10 years ago on Thursday, November 5th, 2009, a day that had dawned chilly but bright and clean quickly turned bloody as a U.S. Army psychiatrist walked into an on-post resilience center and began shooting. Nidal Malik Hassan fatally shot 13 people and injured more than 30 others before Fort Hood Civilian Police Sergeant Mark Todd shot him, ending the rampage. Of the 13 killed, 11 died at the scene and 2 others died later after being taken to hospitals. One of those killed was pregnant, yet her baby, who also died, never has been individually counted on the list of victims. The shooting still ranks as the worst mass shooting at a military installation in U.S. history. Hassan's wounds left him paralyzed from the waist down, but shortly thereafter he was formally charged with 13 counts of premeditated murder and 32 counts of attempted murder under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Those were the charges he faced at court-martial that began August 7, 2013, during which Hassan acted as his own attorney. He admitted he was the gunman in his opening statement and had beforehand told the judge that he had gunned down the soldiers at Fort Hood who were being deployed to protect Muslims and Taliban leaders in Afghanistan. Hassan called no witnesses, presented only scant evidence, and made no closing argument. On August 23, 2013, the court-martial jury found him guilty of all 42 counts and then 5 days later set his punishment at death. Hassan, dressed in army fatigues, showed no reaction as the 13-member panel of senior officers handed down the death sentence. If the decision had not been unanimous, Hassan would have been sentenced to life in prison instead. The panel also stripped Hassan of pay and other financial benefits, which he had continued to receive while in custody before conviction. Hassan was flown to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, where he is one of 6 service members awaiting execution on the military's death row. Those who care for him there, along with his lawyer, John Galligan, of Belton, say it's far more likely he'll die from his injuries than by execution. No active duty service member has been executed since 1961, and legal experts said it will probably be many years, if ever, before the sentence will be carried out. Hassan shouted Allahu Akbar and then opened fire. Ultimately, investigation showed Hassan, at 1:34 p.m. on November 5, 2009, walked into the Soldier Readiness Center, the place where soldiers went for routine medical attention in advance of deployment, just prior to shipping out to Afghanistan. Hassan was carrying an FN-57 handgun he'd fitted with 2 laser sights, one red and one green, and an older model Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum revolver, which he didn't use. He stopped at the first desk inside the north door and asked to see Major Parrish, an officer who'd been assisting Hassan preparing for deployment. A witness said the soldier manning the desk got up and went down a hallway to find the officer, and while he was gone, Hassan slipped behind his desk, for several seconds bowed his head as if in prayer, abruptly stood up, shouted Allahu Akbar, which is Arabic, and means God is great, and started indiscriminately spraying the room with gunfire. After first firing randomly, the witness said, Hassan began targeting individual soldiers and shooting them. U.S. Army Reserve Captain John P. Gaffney ran at Hassan as he fired, but was mortally wounded before reaching him, as was civilian physician assistant Michael Cahill of Cameron, who charged Hassan with a chair but was shot and killed. Army Reserve Specialist Logan Burnett, just seconds later as he threw a table at Hassan, was shot in the left hip, fell, and was able to crawl to safety in a nearby office cubicle. Another Army specialist, who was at the back of the building where Parrish worked, severely cut his hands when he broke out an office window through which Parrish, 2 other soldiers, and he were able to escape into a parking lot. Hassan still was roaming the building, targeting and shooting soldiers as he went. But though he had several opportunities, he didn't fire on civilians for the most part, instead opting for uniformed soldiers as targets. At one point, Hassan reportedly approached a group of 5 civilians hiding under a desk. A U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division report issued after the incident noted. He looked at them, swept the dot of his pistol's laser sight over one of the men's faces, and turned away without firing. Deputy Director of Human Resources, Fort Hood, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Eberhardt arrived, rushed inside the medical building to offer help, and later recalled he had to step over bodies to enter the building's north door. He recalled folding chairs being strewn about the room in the building's waiting area, while there assisted another soldier performing CPR on a wounded man. Then noticed a soldier outside the south doors and went to help him. Staff Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford, a medical assistant from the building, lay unconscious and had 2 wounds to his abdomen and 1 in his scalp. Eberhardt commandeered a table, and he and other soldiers placed Lunsford on it and took him inside to triage. On the other side of the building, Hassan had moved outside but still was firing at soldiers when civilian police sergeant Kimberly Munley encountered him. The 2 immediately exchanged gunfire that left Munley wounded in the hand by shrapnel. Then 2 bullets struck Munley, the first in her thigh and the second one hit her knee. The investigators' report noted Hassan walked up to Munley, kicked her pistol out of reach, but did not kill her. As the rampage continued outside, nurses and others rushed into the building trying to aid the wounded and dying, but, according to the responding nurses, there was so much blood covering the floor inside the building that they were unable to maintain balance and had difficulty reaching the wounded to help them, the CID report said. Herman Toro, director of the Soldier Readiness Center, got to the scene just as Hassan went around an outside corner, out of sight, but still shooting. Toro and another site worker rushed to assist Lieutenant Colonel Juanita Warman, who was down on the ground north of the medical building, the report says. They grabbed her by the arms and were trying to take her to safety when Hassan returned. Toro told investigators he watched as the red laser sight dot from Hassan's pistol danced around his chest, but he did not fire. Toro took cover behind an electrical box and from there saw Todd arrive, confront, and shout commands at Hassan to surrender. Then he turned and fired a couple of rounds at me, Toro recalled. But I didn't hear him say a word. He just turned and fired. Toro later would testify he watched as Todd and Hassan exchanged gunfire until Hassan emptied his weapon. Then, as he was digging for another magazine, was felled by 5 shots from Todd. Todd ran over to him, kicked the pistol out of his hand, and put handcuffs on him as he fell unconscious, Todd said. Within about 10 minutes, the shooting was over, but the carnage left behind was just unfolding. At first, police thought there were 3 gunmen, and for a time, 2 other soldiers were detained, but they subsequently were released after investigators discovered they were not involved. Hassan was prepared to kill more. It says investigators reported they found 146 spent shell casings inside the building and 68 more outside, accounting for 214 rounds being fired either by Hassan or officers who subdued him. Pre-trial testimony showed Hassan, on July 31st, 2009, purchased the FN-57 semi-automatic pistol that he would use in the attack. Army Specialist William Gilbert, a regular customer at the gun store, said Hassan walked in and asked for the most technologically advanced weapon on the market and the one with the highest standard magazine capacity. Hassan was asked what he wanted the pistol for, but refused to answer, Gilbert said. Hassan left, saying he wanted to research on the weapon, then returned the next day and purchased it. Over the next few weeks, he visited the store once a week to buy extra magazines, along with 3,000 total rounds of 5.7 times 28 millimeters SS-192 and SS-197 SR ammunition. I don't know what that is, but I obviously I know it's ammunition, but I don't know. I've never seen it. Sounds big. But in the weeks prior to the attack, Hassan visited an outdoor shooting range in Florence where he honed his skills at hitting silhouette targets at distances of up to 100 yards, trial testimony showed. No soldiers at the Readiness Center were armed because the Army prohibits soldiers from carrying personal weapons while in uniform. Gotcha. In addition to the expended rounds, one of the medics who treated Hassan at the scene reported to investigators he was still carrying 177 rounds of unfired ammunition in his pockets, contained in both 20 and 30 round magazines. Holy shit. The investigation was intense and from the beginning involved both military and civilian law enforcement groups, including the lead investigators from CID, augmented by the local civilian police investigators, Texas Rangers, Texas Department of Public Safety troopers, Bell County Sheriff's deputies, and FBI agents from field offices in San Antonio, Austin, and Waco. Bell County played a major role in the story as Hassan waited for court-martial because it was in the Bell County jail where Hassan was housed for almost 4 years. The jail had to build a hospital intensive care unit in the jail infirmary where Hassan was housed after he was released from an army hospital and was awaiting court-martial. Okay. See this video real quick. Okay. The following KWTX TV program, Courage, originally aired on the 5-year anniversary of the Fort Hood tragedy, November 5th, 2009. This is a little long. I didn't think it was going to be this long.
Decade. And while we will all...
Alright. Well, I guess I don't know. Whatever. Fuck it. Maybe not the whole thing.
33,000 block of 72nd Street. We have some people on the ground.
Out of nowhere, a man stood up in uniform, screamed Allah Akbar, and proceeded to open fire on myself and the rest of my fellow
Wow, I did not know
there.
about this.
All defenseless, no
This
weapons.
is a complete surprise to me.
It happened real quick.
One of the platoon sergeants was shot. We have currently 2 victims with gunshot wounds.
When I heard Velez scream, my baby, my baby, my baby, I thought, oh no, this is real. Someone's shooting.
I mean, it's bad. The soldiers that were killed the same as if they were in battle.
First time since the war began that one of our own has turned against us.
In one of the worst mass shootings ever to take place on an American military base.
Juanita, Michael, John, Francesca, Jason, Amy, DeBarter, Eric.
Damn. I did not know this.
Justin, Michael, Cam, and Frederick.
I'm very angry about this.
In case you're just joining, I appreciate it. Thank you. We're watching this because we were originally watching a video about a case that we were reading about that happens at Fort Hood as well. And that let us, she said something, she mentioned this, the podcaster mentioned this case that happened at this army facility. And yeah, it took me by surprise. I had no idea. Did not know about it. This was, 14 years ago? Yeah, quite some time ago. But nonetheless, still pretty awful. Wow.
Situation. It was senseless and it shouldn't have happened.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people will be scarred for life.
General Casey called this event a kick in the gut, which was so appropriate. But I will tell you at this time, Fort Hood has gotten its breath back and we continue to move forward.
Okay, let's see. I want to go to maybe an actual explanation of...
Time fading on. LT, she's a captain now. Well, the medic kept turning my head to where the wound was down.
Also, I'm not 100% sure if the music that they're using here is like copyright or whatnot. So, I don't want the live stream to be taken down or anything.
Where we kept the major.
Yeah, it has that music all through and through. But luckily, what we'll do is we'll go back here and we'll see if we can find a video. Okay, this is from ABC News. This is from 2013. Let's see. Okay, well, dang it, is there not like a short video? I don't want to have to go into a website and whatnot. It's just that sometimes they don't have they have like music and shit on their videos. Okay, so wait, he ended up dying? Is that what it is?
Court-martial in the news today. A militant, and as I was saying,
said a Fort Hood shooter found guilty. Oh no, sorry. Found guilty may face death penalty. I'm sorry. I misread. I thought it said that he was found dead.
And we turn now to a second court-martial in the news today. A military jury today unanimously convicted Army psychiatrist Major Nidal Hassan of premeditated murder for his shooting spree against unarmed soldiers in Fort Hood, Texas. The 42-year-old killed 13 people and wounded more than 30 others in the 2009 attack. He could now face the death penalty. Karen Brooks has been covering the court-martial for Reuters, and she joins us now. Karen, thank you for being with us. Was this outcome ever really in doubt given the overwhelming evidence against Major Hassan?
Not really. It wasn't. He didn't put up any defense at all, and he didn't dispute the facts. And in fact, he started the trial by saying that the evidence would clearly show he was the shooter. So up or down wasn't really that much of a question.
So what, if any. So what was the duty of the jury that as it went off to deliberate for several hours?
Well, the duty of the jury had 45 counts total to consider. So that's a lengthy list. You're also talking about high-ranking military officials. They're very precise. They want to be very efficient, but they want to get it right. So what they had to do was go through each charge or each count, 13 premeditated murder, 32 attempted premeditated murder, and whatever lesser charges they had the options of, and decide on each one and be very meticulous about it. The big question was whether they were going to find the premeditated murder charges unanimously, and they did. And the reason the unanimous verdict was so interesting or important for prosecutors is that's what kicked in the possibility of the death penalty. Without a unanimous verdict on at least one of the premeditated murders, they wouldn't have been able to push for the death penalty, but they did get that.
Tell us about the reaction, what you know of the reaction in the courtroom on the part of the major and others there. I know there were victims who survived there, and there were family members of victims there.
Yeah, there was the judge was very careful about making sure everybody maintained decorum, stayed calm and dignified during the proceedings. Hassan, just like he did the whole time, showed very little emotion. He did look at the jury forewoman, the jury foreman, the president of the jury panel, while she was reading the verdict. But then he looked back down at his desk, which is what he's typically been doing the whole time. The media are not allowed to hang around with the family members or the witnesses or victims before and after testimony. But the reaction inside the courtroom was very mild. We did see one person who seemed to be a family member kind of touch each other on the shoulder, give a little nod and approval. But other than that, it was pretty emotionless in there.
The testimony, I've been reading about it the last few days, has been pretty tough. I'm sure it wasn't easy for these victims to go live through this experience again.
It was very emotional for a lot of them. In fact, many of them broke into tears on the witness stand. A lot of them maintained composure, but then just got very emotional even before the doors closed on them on the way out of the courtroom. It was hard for a lot of people to keep their emotions in check. It was the testimony was very graphic and very emotional.
And finally, Karen Brooks, the decision on the death penalty. Tell us who makes that decision and when will we know?
The punishment phase or the sentencing phase starts Monday with the prosecution's witnesses. They have 19 witnesses. Several of them are survivors. They expect to go a day or two. Then Hassan will have an opportunity to make his statement if he chooses to do so on his sentencing. And then the court-martial panel, which what we know in civilian trials is the jury, will decide the punishment. In order for it to be a death penalty, it has to be unanimous. If they return a death penalty, the judge has to accept it, but then it eventually has to be signed off by the commanding general of Fort Hood, since it's his court-martial. And then eventually, for it to be carried out, it has to be signed off on by the president.
And we understand he will continue to represent himself. Karen Brooks with Reuters.
That's right.
Holy cannoli. Wow. Okay, so let's see what the latest news in regards to this is. I'm curious about it because damn, I did not know that this was something that happened. This is militarytimes.com. It says U.S. could carry out its first military execution in over 60 years, written by Jonathan Lerfeld. This was published Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. So while it's not the most recent news, but it's the last thing that was reported about it. So it says a former soldier on military death row for the 2009 shooting rampage at Fort Hood, Texas, could face execution after the nation's top military court hears the case. Entered. Because I'm just skimming through the information because we already read what happened. It says if Hassan is put to death, it would be the first military execution since 1961, when ex-soldier John Bennett was hanged after being convicted for raping and attempting to kill a young girl. The hearing Tuesday marks the next stage of the case in the drawn-out military appeals process. Okay. So the Department of Justice imposed a moratorium in the summer of 2021 to pause federal execution orders. Although it still is pressing for the death penalty in certain cases, according to the Associated Press. This followed the Trump administration's resumption of federal non-military executions in 2020 after a 17-year hiatus. Wow. Holy shit. Fucking insane. We deviated a little bit from topic, but I apologize for that. I was just really curious about what she said, and again, I didn't know that had happened at Fort Hood. That's crazy. This was the case we were originally reading that then led us to the other. It's a massacre. That's what it is. That's crazy. Holy shit. Alright. We'll move on with the other video, the one that we were watching, the True Crime Podcast, True Crime Daily Podcast is like 20 minutes long. So, I mean, we heard enough information about that. We'll move on to the next case. We'll keep an eye out to see if there's any updates on this, but for now, I am happy that at least there's some progress and there's people being arrested, and there is now an established timeline that investigators can work on and, bring this person that committed this horrible crime against this Army member to justice. Because, come on now. Can't play games like that. Crazy. Alrighty, we're going to Wisconsin. It says, Wisconsin mom arrested after property manager finds her 5 kids malnourished in basement. Reading from True Crime Daily, published August 15th, 2023. And this is in Racine, Wisconsin. And this is a 34-year-old woman. I apologize, I probably said that completely wrong. Could be racing. But Racine, Wisconsin sounds a lot more on point, so that's what we're going to go with. A 34-year-old woman was arrested last week after her property manager reportedly discovered her 5 children malnourished and living in a dirty basement. Court records show Dasha Turner was charged August 10th with 5 counts of neglecting a child. Consequence is great bodily harm. A judge set her bonds at $1 million cash. According to WISN TV, on July 31st, Turner's property manager visited her home to fix smoke detectors and went into the basement and noticed the lights were shut off and windows were closed. Then she found the 5 victims and said they looked, quote-unquote, skinny. The property manager told WISN they looked like they had not been bathed. They were lying on the floor. There was actually one baby in the bassinet, and there was another baby laying on its stomach on the mattress on the floor. The woman contacted the Racine County Department of Human Resources, who then contacted Racine Police. WISN, which cites the criminal complaint reports, reports the children range in age from 1 to 14 years old. The basement windows were reportedly covered in purple paint, and 4 children had to share one small bed. The criminal complaint said there was one twin-size air mattress in the first room of the basement. On the air mattress, there were 4 frail, unkempt children laying on it. The mattress had a single sheet covering it. No pillows or blankets for the children were located. The father of the 2 victims, who are 7 and 8 years old, told WISN police found them wearing only socks. He said Turner ignores his text messages when he contacts her about seeing his sons. One of the other fathers said his 14-year-old weighed 54 pounds. According to WDJT-TV, the infant child reportedly weighed only 10 pounds. None of them weighed more than 55 pounds. 2 of the children allegedly also had some markings on their body. Court records show Turner's preliminary hearing is scheduled for August 16th. Damn, Mother of the Year, huh? Jeez. Wow. I feel like sometimes people don't gauge, the utter responsibility that comes with having a child. I think people forget that kids are they're people. And not only that, dude, the state knows you have them. It's like you don't live in a country where you can just have kids and no one knows. Like, the state knows you have them. The country knows you have. The government knows you have a kid. I'm confused as to how that message has gotten lost in translation, because there's just people that we're not made for parenting. And I feel like it's not something that you should realize once you're already a parent. It should be something that you should think about beforehand. That's a person that's occupying space in the world. Like, I don't understand. That's horrible. And, this is just this particular article that we read. But if you go back, 3 episodes back, dude, we read that case about that couple that had the kids, the 2 kids, 7 and 8, and they were covered in blood, walking in the streets and naked, covered in blood, and that's how the neighbors found out about what was going on. And everyone had already been asking themselves why the house was boarded up the way it was, and when the police went inside, they found out why. And the walls and there was feces and urine all around, and the house was completely disgusting. The kids were living in squalor, complete and utter squalor. And dude, people just keep reproducing more and more, and I don't understand. It's not candy that you're buying, bro. It's not a TV or some shit like that. You can sell it and dude, it's a human being. Do you understand the sheer responsibility that you now have? Like, you are no longer an individual, you're a parent. You know, I complain about my parents and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you probably complain about your parents as well, and you know, so whatever. But wow, dude, within like my own world, I'm pretty fucking grateful that my parents were the way they were, because it takes reading shit like this to make you realize that, you know, you and I are probably a lot more lucky than what we give ourselves credit for. It seems like having a normal childhood is becoming something of the past, and that sucks. It sucks a lot. It sucks a lot. I had a great childhood. I'm not even gonna deny that. Crazy. Check out WISN.com, see what they have to say about this. Watch a quick video, and then we'll move on to the next case.
On site to fix smoke detectors inside this Racine home July 31st, a property manager who did not want to be identified told me what she saw as she walked down into the basement.
All the windows were closed. The lights were off. I thought that was so weird.
With a stench she described as garbage, she says she spotted several children in the unfinished basement alone.
They looked skinny. They looked like they had not been bathed. They were laying on the floor. There was actually one baby in bassinet, and there was another baby laying on its stomach on the mattress on the floor.
This week, 12 News spoke with two of the children's fathers. They tell us the mother, Deja Turner, was staying in that home with her 5 children. One father identified his daughter as the oldest sibling at 14 years old.
The oldest, I believe, was probably 7, and she kind of approached me, but she didn't say anything. She almost looked at me. And, you know, and then she ran back to the room.
Would you be shocked to know that the oldest was actually 14?
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
She's too little. She's little then.
The property manager says she alerted Racine County Human Services, who asked Racine Police for assistance. Racine Police tell 12 News the children were malnourished and taken to the hospital for evaluation. Can you just describe that to me, what it looked like?
A whole lot of. I know what's going on.
A neighbor who did not want to go on camera Wednesday saw the police response, but was unaware children were living there. What did you see on a daily basis?
I never seen the kid before. I didn't know no kid was in there.
Hannah, we know Turner has not yet been formally charged. Is there a timeline for that?
So, Patrick, the district attorney did tell me today that she hopes to have all of the information she needs to make a charging decision by tomorrow. In the meantime, Turner remains in custody at the Racine County Jail, being held on a $250,000 bond.
Hannah Hilliard reporting live in Racine tonight.
Sorry about that. It's loud. No, I don't know if you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, one of the articles, I'm not gonna go into it, but just listen to the title of that shit. It says, teacher from Brown Deer accused of having sex with 8th grader and buying him a gun. Bro, like, what is happening? What? I don't even know what to say. I don't know. That's so fucking disgusting. On both ends. Because here's the thing. You know, it's still wrong, regardless of, you know, I've heard cases of people, like guys saying like, oh, but I wish that would have happened to me. No, motherfucker, you would have not wished that shit happened to you, bro. No, dude, that's literal, like, that's like rape. I don't understand. Like, how could you, especially a grown ass man, could possibly think that that would have been something that you would have wanted for yourself? Like, oh, that's like every guy's dream. What? That's... I didn't go into that article, so I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But it's not only is it extremely illegal, and I hope this person, without me even reading the article, I hope that teacher is sent to jail for a very long time. It's just, we have to keep it real with ourselves. It's wrong on both ends. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like, a man or a woman. It's extremely wrong. And it's not something to be applauded if it's a woman doing it to a young boy. Like, it's fucking rape, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Whatever, man. We're going to Las Vegas now. It says, new trial begins for man sentenced to death for killings of wife and suspected hit man. Wait, hold on. I'll read that again because it just dawned on me I didn't read it correctly. We're going to Las Vegas. It says, a new trial begins for man sentenced to death for killings of wife and suspected hitman. True Crime Daily, published August 14th, 2023. We're in Las Vegas, and it says, a man previously convicted and sentenced to death is back on trial for allegedly playing a role in his wife's death and the supposed hitman he hired to kill her. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reports Thomas Randolph's retrial began Friday, August 11th, and he is being charged with 2 counts of murder and conspiracy for the 2008 deaths of Sharon Randolph and Thomas Miller. He was originally convicted in 2017 and given the death penalty. Randolph was accused of killing his second wife, Becky, in 1986, but he was found not guilty during a trial in 1989. However, he pleaded guilty in Utah to witness tampering. Randolph filed his appeal in August 2017, and the Nevada Supreme Court heard oral arguments in July 2020. Several months later, in December 2020, the court overturned the conviction on the basis that prosecutors mentioned similarities between Becky and Sharon's deaths. According to the court's opinion, evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts is prohibited to prove a person's character or propensity to act in conformity with a character trait. However, the evidence can be admissible for other purposes, such as proof of motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake or accident. KLAS-TV reports at the retrial, prosecutor Christopher Hammer argued during opening statements, at the end of the day, the defendant's story doesn't add up. At the conclusion of this trial, we will ask you to find that man guilty. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reports his attorney said, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. The case really is about perspective. Sharon Randolph was found dead Sharon Randolph was found dead May 8th, 2008. There's a typo there. Thomas found her and told police a man broke into the house and killed his wife, so he fatally shot the intruder, Michael Miller. Sharon was killed by a gunshot wound to the head, while Miller sustained 5 gunshot wounds, including 2 to the head. Randolph reportedly told police he and Sharon went out that evening, and she got out before he pulled into the garage and waited a few minutes. When he walked inside the home, he reportedly found Sharon dead. He allegedly became startled by unexpected movement, so he picked up a gun from one of the rooms and shot the masked intruder, which was Miller. According to the Nevada Supreme Court's statement of facts, Miller and Randolph had recently become friends, and they even looked at jet skis mere hours before the home invasion. Investigators reportedly found inconsistencies between Randolph's timeline of events and what detectives found inside the home. Detectives learned Randolph took out multiple life insurance policies on Sharon before the killings and had an extensive, secretive relationship with Miller. The two men reportedly often spoke in private and exchanged hundreds of phone calls in the months before the burglary. Over 20 years before Sharon's death, Randolph's wife at the time, Becky, died from a single gunshot wound to the head. Investigators at first believed she died by suicide, but they later charged him with the murder. One of Randolph's former friends, Eric Tarantino, reportedly told police Randolph asked him to kill Becky and make it look like a home invasion. Then, Randolph reportedly solicited an undercover police officer to, quote-unquote, whack Tarantino before Tarantino could testify against him at the trial. Randolph's girlfriend at the time reportedly paid the undercover officer, which led to Randolph being charged with witness tampering. He later had his records expunged in Utah. Prior to the first trial regarding Sharon Randolph and Miller's deaths, prosecutors sought to bring evidence from the Utah trial into theirs. A district attorney court allowed prosecutors to use the evidence and allowed the prosecutor from his trial in Utah, as well as a detective, Tarantino, and his ex-girlfriend to testify. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reports prosecutors are not seeking the death penalty in this retrial because Randolph is 68 years old. I don't know, I should think about that. Maybe not the death penalty, but at least life in prison. That's it. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, let's see how long this video is. It's probably the same that we just read, but...
Hello and welcome to...
Nope. That's 31 minutes long. I'm good. Whew. We're going to Atlanta. Couple claims doctor decapitated baby during childbirth using ridiculously excessive force. True Crime Daily, published August 11th, 2023. We're in Atlanta, and it says a local hospital is facing a major malpractice lawsuit after a couple claimed their doctor decapitated their baby during childbirth and failed to contact other doctors in the hospital during the process. On Wednesday, August 9th, attorneys for Jessica Ross and Trevion Taylor spoke at a press conference and outlined the allegations against Southern Regional Medical Center, an affiliate of the Prime Healthcare Foundation, in their wrongful death suit. Attorneys also allege fraud and intentional emotional distress due to misrepresentation. Ross and Taylor are seeking punitive damages. One of the attorneys, Corey Lynch, said Southern Regional Medical Center tried to hide what actually happened. The hospital did not report Trevion Taylor Jr.'s death to the Clayton County authorities. Rather, police learned after a funeral home contacted them. Wow. Ross and Taylor's families were reportedly informed about the decapitation from the funeral home. Ross's doctor, Tracy St. Julian, MD, reportedly, quote-unquote, came clean only after Ross was discharged from the hospital. Clayton County police are investigating the death. According to Lynch, the hospital allegedly told Taylor and Ross to have their child cremated, and if they wanted an autopsy, they'd have to pay for it themselves. Ross and Taylor met in high school and were so excited to have their first child together. Ross went to Premier Care for Women because they lived close to it and there were female doctors there, which is how they met St. Julian. Lynch said the couple thought they would get the best care there, but their dreams and hopes turned into a nightmare that was covered up by Southern Regional Healthcare. WAGA-TV, which cites the criminal complaint, reports Ross and Taylor are also claiming Premier Care is liable for the grossly negligent acts and omissions of its employee and or agent, Tracy St. Julian, MD, who cared for Miss Jessica Ross and Trevion Isaiah Taylor Jr. on or about July 9th, 2023. Dr. Roderick Edmond, who was also representing Ross and Taylor, said Ross's water broke July 9th at approximately 10 a.m. She went to the labor and delivery department at Southern Regional Medical Center, where nurses hooked her up to an IV to help speed up delivery. She was 37 weeks pregnant. about 10 hours later, at 8:40 p.m., she was fully dilated, and her doctors told her to start pushing. According to Edmund, Travion Jr.'s shoulder got stuck during the delivery. Edmund and Lynch allege St. Julian used ridiculously excessive force when she pulled the baby's head and neck. Edmund said the bones in Travion Jr.'s skull, neck, and face were broken in the process. St. Julian eventually performed a C-section on Ross, but according to Edmund, the feet came out, the body came out. There was no head. The head was reportedly delivered vaginally. Their attorneys claim St. Julian and nurses at the hospital were negligent for not contacting other doctors on the floor to assist and not advocating for Ross to get a C-section earlier in the delivery. In addition, Lynch said at the press conference that hospital staff would not let Ross and Taylor see or hold their newborn. At one point, staff wrapped the child very tight so that they could not see what happened. They propped the head up to make it appear the baby's head was attached. Wow. Whew. The couple was only allowed to see their son through glass. WXIA-TV shared a statement released by Southern Regional Medical Center, which said, Our heartfelt thoughts and prayers are with the family and all those impacted by this tragic event. Our prayers also remain with the dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and staff at Southern Regional Medical Center who cared for this patient. The statement also said the hospital denies the allegations of wrongdoing in the complaint, referencing the hospital, and that Travion died in utero, prior to the delivery and decapitation. Southern Regional Medical Center said St. Julian is not and never has been an employee of the hospital. Wow. I mean, like, how do you deny that you're not that the hospital is not liable for this? Like, did we not just read the same thing? Like, did you not hear what I said? They had to do a C-section on her. Like, this is like, I feel like I just read. This is real life. I read the plot of what's like a horror movie. Like, bro. Wow. Holy shit, isn't that something, huh? Whew. Wow. How do you deny something like that? Like, how do you deny that the hospital doesn't have anything to do with this? But in the same breath, Southern Regional Medical Center says that St. Julian is not and never has been an employee of the hospital. So which one is it? How does it work though? What? Right then and there, you can tell, that the hospital knows that they have complete fault in this. Oh my goodness. Shit, I'm so sorry about that. That came out of nowhere. Sorry about that. Again, how do you deny something like this? Like, this is, how do you say that? Wow. Bro, the hospital popped the head on the... They wrapped the baby's body. Like, They wrapped it in a towel. And they propped the baby's head on the body to make it seem like... Wow, and they are denying having anything to do with this. Bro, Southern Regional Medical Center in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know, y'all better stop dipping into your bank accounts, because you're going to have to pay 100%, 150%. How does this, how? And they only found out because they were called from the funeral. Like, do you understand the length of this nightmare? Like, not only was none of them told about what happened, they made it seem like the baby was still alive, and the parents found out when they got a phone call from the funeral home if they wanted the baby to be cremated. Wow. Holy shit, dude. That is so crazy. Just like it's damn, it's fucking uncomfortable too. Like the lengths of, just how fucked up people can be. This is crazy, man. I hope they milk them for every single cent that they could possibly get from these people. I hope it's millions of dollars. Will definitely not mend the pain. Definitely will not bring back their baby. But nonetheless, bro, y'all need to stop. They need that money ASAP. I don't give a shit about what anyone has to say. They have to be paid. That is crazy. I would love to hear someone's rebuttal to this. Like, what the fuck are you gonna say? What could you say? The hospital propped up the kid. Do you understand? You pay the hospital. The hospital doesn't pay you. You pay the hospital. So not only do you have to pay for the birth, and you have to pay for the whole thing. Quite expensive. I have a friend. She had a baby. Dude, without her insurance, it was like $75,000. Straight up. So we don't even know this if they had insurance or not. Let's just hypothetically imagine that they didn't have insurance. So not only do they have to pay this whole hospital and whatnot, like the hospital bill and shit, bro, this whole situation happens, and what the hospital does is, instead of coming clean, it's like, bro, they were gonna get sued anyway, but now the gravity of the situation is far worse. Far worse. So yeah, again, we're gonna move on to the next case. I hope with everything inside of me that they are awarded millions of dollars, and I hope that policy passes, something that changes the way hospitals swear up and down that they can get away with these type of things and not take an ounce of responsibility. Because, dude, they neglected having that lady as an employee there, period, point blank, even though the whole procedure was done there and she was already seeing that doctor at that facility. I don't know, man. It kind of makes you wonder about things. Listen, if there's one thing watching and listening and reading about true crime cases is, it makes you a skeptic about everything. Everything. I'm questioning everything. Especially if it doesn't make any sense. Listen. Well, one of the people that I admire the most in this world, Judge Judy. And Judge Judy says, what did you say? If it doesn't make any sense, it's not true. And yeah, I think that applies perfectly to this one right here. Wow, that was insane. All right, we're going to Nevada now. It says, a Nevada man found decapitated in bed with smoke coming out of his body. True Crime Daily, published August 18th, 2023. We are in Henderson, Nevada, and it says, a 45-year-old woman was arrested on suspicion of murder after the victim's mother discovered him decapitated inside his bedroom last week. In a statement, Henderson police said officers and the fire department responded to a home on the 2000 block of Paladura Drive on August 7th at 8:40 a.m. after receiving a call about a dead person inside. When they arrived, they found a male victim deceased. Police said the man's death was the result of a homicide. Henderson police identified the victim's girlfriend, Devin Michaels, as the suspect and arrested her August 15th on a charge of open murder. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reports the victim has been identified as 46-year-old Jonathan James Willett. Willett and Michaels were in a relationship, but Michaels is also married to Willett's son. Court documents cited by the Las Vegas Review-Journal says Michaels and the son wed to help each other out. Willett's son reportedly told investigators their marriage is not a typical marriage and that they got married so he could help Devin with her medical issues. On the morning of August 7th, Willett's mother went into his room and found her son wrapped up in blankets and bloody. Police noted in their report that Willett's head had been severed from his body and was not observed to be in his room. KLAS-TV, which also cites the court documents, reports investigators noticed a chemical odor coming from his room, most likely from bleach or ammonia. The chemicals were allegedly put on Willett's body, which resulted in smoke emanating from it. Investigators discovered several of Willett's personal items, such as his wallet and phone, with blood on them. Willett and Michaels were reportedly in the process of moving in together because they have 2 daughters, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Michaels reportedly told police Willett was abusive and made a child take showers in front of him. The night of his death, Willett allegedly tried to get her to conduct a sexual act on him, but she refused and hit him on the head with a wooden stick. According to the arrest report, Michaels stated that she did not want to kill Jonathan and only wanted to hurt him enough that he would have to go to the hospital because she wanted him out of the way so she could figure out what she could do with her children. Court records show Michaels was denied bail. Wow. That's crazy. Woo. Is there a video? No video on this one. I like the videos because the website does a pretty good job at describing
Found
everything.
by his mother.
Oops, sorry. Stop it.
And the man, a Henderson man.
As I was saying, they do a pretty good job at describing the whole case, and everything that we read from True Crime Daily comes from like news articles and whatnot. So no need to read again from another article if it's the same information. The videos do repeat some of the things that were already said, but nonetheless, I still find it pretty interesting, and I hope you find it interesting too. Just remember to like this video, comment on it, share it out to your loved ones. Let me know if you have heard about any of these cases. If you heard about that case from 2009 at Fort Hood, let me know in chat, either Twitch or YouTube. You can use your Amazon Prime here on Twitch as well if you want to further support me. And just remember, I have a Discord, The King Angel Show, that you can join. All the links are in the description box of this live stream. And I have a Patreon, $2 a month. I'd love for you to join. That's the best way to support me. You get a whole bunch of benefits. There's just like 19 benefits up until this point, ranging from channel points on Twitch to private Discord channels. There's a whole bunch of different things there, so check it out. Just wanted to give you a quick reminder on that. And follow me over on TikTok. That would be pretty awesome. I'm trying to get that TikTok going. At least the King Angel Show, the true crime one, is going pretty great. Tomorrow I'll post some of the clips from this same live stream there, so check it out. Let me know what you think and follow me there. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I'm 200 some odd, give or take, followers away from going live. Once I'm able to go live on TikTok, bro, I am going to be doing an exclusive TikTok live day that's only for true crime. Kind of the same thing. but on a more, like, I won't have like a green screen or anything behind me. Make the room look nice. And it'll be a little bit more homey. I love the green screen here. It gives me a lot more liberty to be able to, be in tune with the article that I'm reading. I love it. I pop out a lot more too, so. And my forehead looks, at a perfect size. Very important. All right, moving on. It's a pretty short video, so this is only 30 seconds.
Man's headless body was found by his mother, and the man's on and off again girlfriend is accused of killing him. 45-year-old Devin Michaels is the suspect, and she alleges that the victim, 46-year-old Jonathan James Willett, was abusive to her. Police described Michaels as the victim's girlfriend, but Willett's mother said Michaels was his ex-girlfriend and that she's married to Willett's son. Michaels was arrested and faces charges of open murder. For more details on this case, log on to lvrj.com/crime.
Very weird dynamic. I'm thoroughly confused, but people are weird like that. I don't even know what to say. All right, we're going to Massachusetts. It says Massachusetts man kills neighbor and her 10-year-old granddaughter before shooting himself. True Crime Daily, published August 18th, 2023. We are in Springfield, Massachusetts. It says 3 people, including the suspect, are dead and 1 child is injured after a 34-year-old man opened fire on an unsuspecting family and then killed himself. According to the Hampden County District Attorney's Office, on Monday, August 14th, at 2:40 p.m., Springfield Police Department officers were called to 174 Berkshire Avenue after receiving a report about shots fired. When they arrived, they found Victor Nieves, Kim Fairbanks, and a dog deceased on the first floor of an apartment building. When officers continued to look through the home, they found a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, and a 5-year-old in a bedroom. The 12-year-old and 10-year-old sustained gunshot wounds, and the 5-year-old was not injured. Medics rushed the children to Bay State Medical Center and even blocked off streets so the ambulance could get to the hospital faster. The 10-year-old was airlifted to Boston Children's Hospital. The 12-year-old remains in stable condition at Bay State. On Thursday, August 17th, the 10-year-old's mother announced the girl, Aubriana Sarah, had died. Stephanie Croteau wrote on Facebook, at 12:56 p.m., "My princess, Aubriana Lynn's heart stopped beating. It was peaceful. She was not in any pain. She was surrounded by her family. My whole heart has been completely ripped out of my chest. It's shattered. It hurts. The pain I feel is unbearable." She continued, "You were the lightness to everyone's darkness. You always were able to put a smile on everyone's face. My baby, my love, my little nanny. You came into this world fight and you left this world fighting. There's nothing I really have to say because I am just so heartbroken and I am so speechless. I never imagined I would have to bury one of my children." The Hampden County District Attorney's Office said Nieves lived on the second floor of the apartment building. Homicide detectives believe Nieves forcibly entered through his neighbor's front door and began shooting at the occupants before turning the gun on himself and committing suicide. Wow. Bruh. Why? Is there like a reason why, or it's just... I don't know, man. The current situation in this country and whatnot, adding to that the fact that it's just like, I don't know if maybe it's just like the whole neighbor thing is just not something that people are doing anymore. If there's one thing about millennials and upcoming generations after millennials, that we don't really do the whole neighbor thing much. I don't know why. I don't know, man. Listen, I complain about my neighbor and shit, but I would never take it to any other point other than bitching about what she does. Like, that's why I go to management, though. It's their job. But not only that, it's that you don't know people like that. And, I don't even know. Like, it's just, you have to try to, like, avoid issues as much as possible. And mind you, it's not only this one that I have here. I've had other neighbors before, like not the one that was before the person that lives there now. The person that was there before that person, I'm talking like 4 or 5 years ago. That was rough. That was really rough because she lived with someone there, and my wife and I were completely convinced that that person was being beat up. And it got really bad to the point where like the banging on it was so bad. And I had to call the cops a few times. I don't lie. Had to call the cops a few times. You know, she denied it and whatnot, but they ended up coming back. I had to call them like 3 times. No lie. They ended up evicting her and whatnot. She's had so many problems and shit. But nonetheless, you know, it's, I don't know, everyone's on edge. And confrontation is just, it's not as appealing as it was before. You don't know who could, it's like draw a gun on you and like that's it. This is sad as fuck because like, bro, that 10-year-old, yeah, I mean, and none of them had anything to do with anything, dude, let alone that 10-year-old. Very sad. Very sad. There's no video. This is pretty recent, so there's nothing there. But we'll go on to the next case, and yeah, I'm just wishing this family as much strength as possible. I've said it here before. I'll say it every episode. I mean, it's informative, and you know, I read these cases, and we understand things that are going on around the country and whatnot. But nonetheless, though, it's tough. It's tough reading it. It's tough watching the videos and stuff. You know, because it's such an uncomfortable topic. Even if it's interesting, it's still uncomfortable. And I don't know, man. I've talked about balance here before, and normally after I do true crime episodes, like I'll watch like an hour of Good News Network or some shit like that. Just the complete opposite, so I can, you know, have that like Libra basically. I'm not Libra, I'm a Cancer, but nonetheless, I can have that balance. And yeah, because wow. I think it's the realization of just how evil people really are. Like it's not like in certain places, it's just like you don't really know who anyone is at this point. Because you don't even know who the people in your own home are. How many true crime cases have we not seen? Have we not read through? How many are they? I think so many content creators that make videos of them, of husbands and wives that kill their spouses. Kids that kill their parents. Parents that kill their kids. This case, neighbors that killed their downstairs neighbors. That kid that knocked on that home by mistake. It's like 14, some shit like that. He was shot. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like my neighbor got mad at me because I went to go complain because she's loud to management. She got mad at me, which is kind of a weird reaction to have when I don't know you. You don't know me. Wouldn't it be like the best course of action to take it to the people that, you know, are actually paid to do that? But they pay them. That's their problem. They need to worry about that. Because we may well be the nicest people in the world. She might well be the nicest. She might be an angel. She might not. I don't fucking know. Same, vice versa. She doesn't know me. She don't know. I know I would never do something like that at all. But I don't know about anyone else. So, dude, we live in weird times. This is some fucked up times, man. And they're just not enough houses for people to A, afford it, and B, even if they could afford it, to everyone have like their own individual houses so they don't have to deal with like neighbors and whatnot. Very sad. Very sad case. And then the other kid's scarred for life as well. Man. Alright. Moving on to the next case. We are going to Connecticut. It says, Connecticut woman sentenced for killing victim whose headless body was found in state park. True Crime Daily, published August 18th, 2023. We are in Waterbury, Connecticut. A judge sentenced a 26-year-old woman to 25 years in prison for her role in the stabbing, death, and beheading of a woman whose body was found in a state park in 2020. The Waterbury State Attorney's Office announced a judge handed Cassandra Nazario a 50-year sentence with 25 years suspended after she pleaded guilty in April to murder, first-degree burglary, and tampering with evidence for the death of Rachel Lerato Sebetlela. Nazario's co-conspirator, Miles Johnson, was convicted in April of murder, first-degree burglary, tampering with evidence, conspiracy to commit burglary, and conspiracy to commit tampering with evidence. Nazario agreed to testify against Johnson at his trial as part of her cooperation with prosecutors. According to the state's attorney's office, Sebetlela was stabbed in the torso several times at her home in Waterbury on July 10, 2022. 2 months later, on September 12, 2020, a person hiking in Black Rock State Park found a headless body wrapped in blankets and garbage bags. Sebetlela's feet, legs, and wrists were bound with duct tape, the statement said. Nazario said at Johnson's trial, they, quote-unquote, spent the day preparing for the murder, which included buying black clothing and a knife. Johnson was sentenced to 55 years in prison. Yikes. Recurring theme tonight, huh? Wow. This is like the fourth one that we've read that has something to do with like headless bodies and like decapitations and whatnot. Wow. That is insane. Doesn't have a video or anything, so we'll move on to the next case. Wow. Let me see real quick if I can find a video, maybe like a news report on. What? Wait, this is another, that's another case. Okay. This is the one that we're looking for. So we are going to... Oh, is this the one that only has it on the corner? Sorry. I don't know why some websites tend to put the video on the... Wait, where'd you go? They tend to put the video at the like the corner right here above. As you can see, I had already taken the ad blocker off of this website, so it's not the first time I've been into this news website. There's a fox61.com. This is from Hartford, Connecticut. Title says Waterbury woman sentenced to 50 years for 2020 murder. No. So I apologize. I will take the mute off, and the video's playing right above me. It's really small. I don't want to make it any bigger, because if I make it any bigger, it's just gonna... you're not gonna be able to see anything at all. But at least we'll be able to hear it.
And the New Haven Police Departments are investigating after they say a Yale student woke up in the early morning hours to find a man standing...
This ain't it. Nope. That is, seems to be another case. No? I see nothing here. They have this from the Associated Press, but it's just like I think it's only like certain parts of like the news that they'll give. So it's not like the whole thing. Wow. But this is from another case, though. This is Waterbury man sentenced to 55 years for 2020 murder. No, this is the same one. Wait, why does it say... Oh, because yes. Yes. It was a couple. So this is a Miles Johnson and Cassandra Nazario. Right? So there's two separate ones. One for her and one for him. Makes sense. Wow, that is crazy. Alright, let's move on to the next case. We're going to Alaska. It says Alaska man accused of killing missing National Guard member wife and leaving body in storm drain. True Crime Daily, published August 18th, 2023. We are in Anchorage, Alaska. A 21-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of killing his National Guard member wife after he pleaded for her safe return and helped her mother search for her. Saria Hildebrand was reported missing to the Anchorage Police Department August 7th after she was last seen the morning prior at approximately 10 a.m. near Mockingbird Drive and Alpenhorn Avenue. On August 9th, officers and the department's crime scene team went to the 5200 block of Mockingbird Drive for an ongoing investigation, and the same occurred the next day on the 1400 block of Alpenhorn Avenue. Anchorage police announced August 11th that Hildebrand's disappearance was being investigated as a homicide, and as a result, police arrested her husband, Zarius Hildebrand, on charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and tampering with evidence. According to KTUU-TV, investigators discovered Saria Hildebrand's body in a storm drain. Both Hildebrands were in the military. Saria Hildebrand served in the Alaska Army National Guard, and Zarius Hildebrand was in the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, Airborne. Saria recently moved to Alaska from Utah, where she also served in the Utah Army National Guard. On August 5th, the couple reportedly spent the night out with friends for Zarius' 21st birthday. They got back to their apartment in the early morning hours of August 6th. A neighbor reportedly heard a gunshot at 2:45 a.m. Court documents cited by KTUU say Zarius Hildebrand informed investigators his wife went to work at 10 a.m. but left her phone at home at 10:45 a.m. However, her sea workers got a text from her saying she was not coming in that day. Hildebrand allegedly didn't really worry about his wife until about 12 hours later when he started driving around searching for her. He claimed he reported her missing Monday, August 7th, because he thought she would come home and claim it was a misunderstanding. KSL.com, which also cites court documents, reports Hildebrand allegedly changed his story several times about what he did August 6th. He allegedly went to a store and bought marinara sauce, hydrogen peroxide, sheets, a mattress cover, a spray bottle, and other items. Investigators searched the apartment and discovered the mattress was, quote-unquote, saturated by human blood. Detectives reportedly wrote in the charging documents, there was so much blood on the mattress that the blood soaked through onto the carpet and into the wood frame. Wow. According to the Anchorage Daily News, Saria's mom, Meredith Barney, said Zarius walked around for hours with me searching for my daughter knowing that she was dead. He lied to me multiple times and tried to play it off like he was a concerned husband. He's an asshole. Oh yeah. And a murderer too. Wow. Another recurring theme too. Second one that we've read tonight. About an army member. Crazy. Both women. Hey man, listen, Louis C.K. said it best in one of his comedy specials. He says, the biggest threat to man is heart disease. A biggest threat to a woman is a man. Think about that. Makes sense. I don't subscribe to misogynistic ideologies. We're in this home. We're ending the patriarchy. We're doing away with past things that I was shown as a kid growing up and shit by my parents and my grandparents and whatever. That's no. We're moving on, and no. New times. Out with the old, in with the new. And that includes the patriarchy. It's time that we as men start taking responsibility for the shit that we do. We do some fucked up shit. 100%. We're going to Oregon now. It says, missing woman's dismembered remains found at Oregon landfill. True Crime Daily posted August 17th, 2023, and we are in Oregon City, Oregon. Police discovered human remains. Sorry. I'm going to start over again. Hey. We're going to Oregon. It says, missing woman's dismembered remains found at Oregon landfill. True Crime Daily posted August 17th, 2023. We are in Oregon City, Oregon. And it says, police discovered human remains in a landfill last week they believe are those of 49-year-old woman who went missing in July. According to Oregon City Police, Cara Raylene Taylor, who is also known as Cara Sanders, was last seen July 25th at approximately 11 p.m. on the 200 block of Jefferson Street. Taylor, who was from Pasco, Washington, was in town visiting friends. Taylor was reportedly staying at Hamon Fritz's house when she disappeared, and he reported her missing July 27. Oregon City Police said the circumstances of her disappearance were suspicious, so detectives launched an investigation. On August 5th, Oregon City Police and other law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, served a search warrant at Fritz's home on Jefferson Street as well as other locations, which led them to conclude Taylor died by homicidal violence. Police arrested Fritz the morning of August 7th and booked them into the Clackamas County Jail on charges of second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, and second-degree abuse of a corpse. About a week later, on August 11th, detectives executed a search warrant at the Coffin Butte landfill in Corvallis and discovered human remains that are most likely those of Taylor. KOIN TV reports. Prosecutors argued in court Fritz made multiple trips to Home Depot to purchase zip ties, tarps, a saw blade, a black tote, and contractor bags, among other things, before he reported her missing to police. Fritz, allegedly told police he killed and dismembered Taylor, then got rid of her remains at different dump sites around the area. According to the Oregonian/Oregon Live, Taylor recently underwent spinal surgery and was staying with Fritz during her recovery. She worked as a respiratory therapist and had a 22-year-old nonverbal daughter who needs around-the-clock assistance. Taylor's brother told the Oregonian/Oregon Live, I'd like to lay her to rest. Right now she's sitting out in a landfill or somewhere, and it kills me. It hurts. Damn. That is crazy. I don't know if you heard that door too. That's also crazy too. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Alright. This is from KOIN.com. Prosecutors, man accused of killing Cara Taylor disposed of her body at multiple dumps. Video's right above me. I'll watch it real quick.
In 3 hours.
Dang it.
There in the courtroom as that suspect was arraigned less than 3 hours ago. Jamie Seymour live in Oregon City with what we know so far about disturbing details. Jamie?
Jeff, Liz, Cara Taylor was last seen at her home on July 25th, and 2 days later, she was reported missing by a man that police now say is responsible for her death. Now, we must warn you, some of these details may be disturbing to hear. Earlier today, just after midnight, Oregon City police arrested 47-year-old Jamin Peter Fritsch at the Oregon City home Taylor was last seen at. And earlier this afternoon, he was charged with second-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. Though Taylor has not been found, over the weekend on Saturday, Oregon City officers, along with the Clackamas County Major Crimes Team and FBI, executed a search warrant at her home and other locations. Detectives reportedly found evidence that Taylor died by homicidal violence, leading them to issue an arrest warrant for Fritsch. The investigation revealed that after she was reported missing, but before he reported to the police, defendant made multiple trips to Home Depot to purchase zip ties, tarps, a saw blade, a black tote, and contractor bags, among other things. In court, attorneys went on to say Fritsch allegedly admitted to dismembering Taylor and disposed of her body at multiple city dumps, adding that he told police it was so they wouldn't be able to find her. Police also say Fritsch described himself as a danger. The court ordered he be held without bail. He'll next appear on August 14th. Now, investigators are still working to find Kara Taylor's remains and recover them. They're asking anyone with information to contact the Oregon City Police Department. Reporting live in Oregon City, Jamie Seymour, Coin 6 News.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
Damn. It's crazy. She has a 22-year-old nonverbal daughter who needs around-the-clock assistance. A very long time ago, I remember having a neighbor that she had 2 children. She was elderly already. She had 2 children. They were in their 50s already, and yeah, they were nonverbal and they needed around-the-clock assistance as well. Yeah, I mentioned it because I remember that she was they were really attached to their mom, obviously, and it was because of the fact that their mother cared for them all the time, around the clock, like it says here. Damn. That sucks. She's gonna have to be without her mom now. Crazy. Moving on. We're going to Massachusetts again. Man convicted of fatally shooting Massachusetts teen in 1991 and leaving her body on fire escape. True Crime Daily, posted August 17th, 2023. This is in Malden, Massachusetts. A 32-year-old cold case came to a close this week after a man was convicted of killing a 17-year-old girl and leaving her body on a fire escape in 1991. In a joint statement, the Middlesex County District Attorney's Office and Malden Police Department announced a jury found Rodney Daniels guilty of first-degree murder for the shooting death of Tricia Moreno over 30 years ago. On July 20th, 1991, at around 3 a.m., Malden Police Department responded to an apartment at 21 Henry Street and found Moreno suffering from a single gunshot wound to the head. She had been living at the apartment with her foster mom, the mom's 2 teen daughters, and the older daughter's boyfriend, Daniels. Moreno was still alive when police arrived, but when she was taken to Massachusetts General Hospital, doctors determined that she had suffered an irreversible brain injury. She died later that day. The autopsy revealed she was shot with a .38 caliber weapon, though police did not find any cartridges or evidence of forced entry at the scene. When Daniels spoke with police, he reportedly said she was sleeping in an armchair when he heard the gunshots go off. When he walked out to the fire escape, he saw Moreno injured. According to the statement, Daniels owned several guns around the time Moreno was killed, including a .38 caliber revolver. Prior to Moreno's death, Daniels had engaged in threatening behavior towards Tricia. The investigation into Moreno's death went cold because police could not obtain enough evidence to make an arrest. The Middlesex County District Attorney's Office's cold case unit reopened the case in 2020. In doing so, Investigators analyzed the area where Moreno was shot, and, according to the statement, based on the position of the entry wound and the trajectory of the bullet, they determined that the path of the bullet was consistent with having been fired by an individual standing in the area of the doorway to the apartment where Tricia had resided with her foster family. A witness who lived one floor below Moreno and her family told investigators he heard a loud noise on the night of the killing and saw Moreno struggling to breathe with a male standing over her. The witness saw the man go back inside the apartment. The witness's description of the male matched Daniel's appearance. According to the Middlesex District Attorney's Office, detectives learned the witness protected Daniels after he told her he killed Moreno, hid the gun in an armchair, and disposed of the weapon. The witness reportedly had admitted that she lied to police investigators and an investigating grand jury in 1991 in order to protect Daniels. She had said that, even many years later, she was afraid to disclose what she knew because she feared that admitting her complicity in the cover-up would expose her to prosecution. That witness is now deceased. Police in Fulton, Georgia arrested Daniels at his home September 27, 2021, and he was later extradited to Massachusetts. To be honest with you, these are my favorite type of cases, when they swore they were going to get away with it, and surprise, your ass is in jail now. Chef's kiss. It's my favorites. That justice. Because, again, this person was probably thinking, like, I got away with it. Bro, I'm the best. I eluded law enforcement. Nobody's catching me. Probably lived a normal life and whatnot. Little did that person know. I've said it here. Dude, with all the advancements in technology, it's getting a lot easier to resolve cold cases. And they see their day in court. And they will pay for it. Same thing with the Golden State Killer. Lived a good chunk of his later life after having committed all of those atrocities as a normal human being. My man had a Harley Davidson and everything, riding around. He was living his life, living his best life. Oh, little did he know that they had already built a case against him, and they already knew who he was, and they were just closing out their whole investigation to be able to nab him. That old piece of shit's in jail right now, rotting. Good for him. Good for him. Hope he rots completely there for all of his atrocities. So yeah, this is my favorite type of case. When justice is served, even after a good amount of time has passed. Oh yeah, chef's kiss. We're going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati man allegedly fatally shot pregnant woman on her way to a yard sale. True Crime Daily, published August 16th, 2023. Cincinnati, and it says police arrested a 22-year-old man after he was accused of shooting and killing a 34-year-old pregnant woman while she was driving to a yard sale this month, on August 5th, just before 5:30 p.m. Cincinnati police received a call about a shooting on the 400 block of Rockdale Avenue. When they arrived, they found a crime scene, but there was no victim on the scene. Soon after, police learned a woman arrived at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center with a gunshot wound. She was later pronounced deceased. 5 days after the shooting, Cincinnati police arrested McQuan Barfield on an open murder warrant. He's in custody at the Hamilton County Jail on charges of murder, felonious assault, obstruction of official business, assault, and failure to comply with police. He was previously in custody for reckless driving and driving under suspension. According to WCPO-TV, the victim was identified as Nia Booker. 3 of Booker's children, ages 7, 8, and 9, were also in the car when the shooting occurred. The 9-year-old reportedly called 911. Booker was 9 months pregnant when she died, but doctors were able to deliver her baby girl, who survived. WXIX-TV reports the baby is now off a ventilator. Wow. is crazy. Let's see. Okay, this is from Fox19.com. Family, baby of pregnant woman killed in shooting off ventilator. Was the last thing we read.
As well on a shooting that took the life of a pregnant woman.
Her baby survived out of the womb, and the family tells us that the infant is now making progress.
Jessica Schmidt has an update for us.
So police believe that Myquan Barfield shot and killed Nia Booker August 5th. Booker was pregnant when she died, but her family says her baby survived. And today they're telling us the baby is now off of a ventilator. The infant has been in the ICU since the deadly shooting, so this is a positive update to hear the baby is making some progress. Booker's loved ones say she was headed to a yard sale with 3 of her kids when she was shot and killed in her car. Police believe that Barfield pulled up next to her and fired into the passenger side of the vehicle. Police say this happened in broad daylight, right across from a park where children were playing. Barfield is pleading not guilty to his charges, which include murder, assault, reckless driving, and failure to comply. That's because police say Barfield led them on a chase last week that ended in a crash and ended in him being arrested. Barfield's bond is set at $1.8 million, a fundraiser for Booker's family, and the baby has raised nearly $15,000. At the alert desk, Jessica Schmidt, Fox 19 Now.
Jessica, thank you.
Wow. Crazy. Pushing that family strength during this time. Again, you know, one of the things about this true crime show, this live stream, is that it gives voices to victims. When we read these cases, and you know, it's a form of, you know, giving the story an opportunity to be heard. You know, there's so much that happens. It's like it just gets lost in so many things. You know, not every single case is like a you know, a media-driven case where there's, you know, interest in a lot of people. You know, not every case is a Gabby Petito kind of situation. So, you know, one of the reasons why I chose to go down this route, you know, reading, watching these videos and, you know, daily occurrences that are happening across the country, is because, again, it's giving voice to people that no longer have that ability to be able to say something about it. We give their story and their unfortunate series of events a place in, you know, this whole space that we call the internet. It's not just lost in a website or, you know, in some news report and whatnot. So, yeah. May not be much, but oh well. Feel like I can help just a little itty bitty bit. Alright, we're going to Indiana. Father arrested after son is found shot dead clutching baseball bat. True Crime Daily, published August 16th, 2023. We are in Lawrence, Indiana. It says a 53-year-old man was arrested over the weekend after he allegedly killed his son during a physical altercation. According to WXIN TV, on Sunday, August 13th, at approximately 11 p.m., Lawrence Police Department officers responded to an apartment on the 7100 block of Foxborough Drive and located 27-year-old Oliver Johnson unresponsive on the floor. Paramedics arrived and later pronounced him dead. Lawrence police investigators reportedly said there was an altercation between close family members, which resulted in Johnson getting injured. His cause of death was initially listed as a single gunshot wound. Detectives subsequently identified Oliver's father, Rolf Johnson, as the primary suspect, though he was not at the scene when police got there. An office in a nearby town saw Rolf Johnson's vehicle about an hour later and pulled him over. He was booked into the Marion County Jail on a murder charge and is being held without bond. According to court documents cited by WXIN, Oliver was on the kitchen floor holding a wooden baseball bat. He had sustained head trauma and was pronounced deceased at 11:10 p.m. Inside the home, Marion County Crime Lab officials located an AR-15 style rifle and a handgun lying on a cot near Oliver's body. The crime lab team found a bullet casing in a hole in the apartment wall. The affidavit says Rolf Johnson contacted his other son and told him to call police because Oliver tried to hit him, so he hit him back, possibly with a hammer. There was blood everywhere and he killed him. WXIN reports, however, the coroner said Oliver had 2 gunshot wounds in his body. The other son went to the apartment and provided police with information about his father's vehicle. When they located him, he reportedly had blood on his pants. Damn. Holy shit, dude, he killed his son. It's crazy. Alright, we got 3 more cases to go, and I'll be ending tonight's true crime stream. We're going to Florida now. Start over again. We're going to Florida now. It says a woman allegedly killed elderly roommate, poured Mountain Dew on herself to hide evidence. True Crime Daily, published August 16th, 2023. This is in Daytona Beach, Florida. A 35-year-old woman faces murder and other charges after she allegedly stabbed her 80-year-old roommate to death, tried to hide evidence, and attacked officers resisting her. No. Because that's not what it says. That doesn't make any sense. Start over again. To better give you information, A, B, and I cut these for TikTok, so it wouldn't make any sense if the sentence in and of itself doesn't make sense. So start over again. It says, we're going to Florida. Woman allegedly killed elderly roommate, poured Mountain Dew on herself to hide evidence. True Crime Daily, published August 16th, 2023. This is in Daytona Beach, Florida. And it says, a 35-year-old woman faces murder and other charges after she allegedly stabbed her 80-year-old roommate to death, tried to hide evidence, and attacked officers arresting her. Volusia County court records show Nicole Max was charged August 16th with 1 count of first-degree murder and arson of a dwelling. She was previously charged in July with tampering with physical evidence and resisting an officer with violence. According to Max's affidavit, on Saturday, July 1st, at 1:46 a.m., someone waved down a Daytona Beach Police Department sergeant due to a house fire at a residence on Clark Street. Police and fire personnel arrived at the scene, and when firefighters got in the home, they found a man with blunt force trauma injuries to the back of his head and stab wounds to his torso. Paramedics pronounced the victim, 80-year-old Michael Cerasoli, deceased. After firefighters extinguished the blaze, detectives obtained a search warrant for the residence and found a bloody knife near Cerasoli's body and blood near Max's room. Detectives also discovered 2 cell phones in the room. One was plugged in and placed on the bed, while the other was on the windowsill with a knife on it. Investigators learned the phone on the bed was Cerasoli's and the other belonged to Max. Max wasn't home when the police and fire departments got there. A detective located her at about 3:30 a.m., standing near a restaurant without shoes on. She allegedly was still holding a knife and a hammer, which she dropped when the detective ordered her to. According to the affidavit, Max had blood on her body and shirt. When speaking with detectives, Max allegedly changed her story multiple times and said she had been homeless for about 4 years. She claimed she had gone to the hospital earlier that day because she had a panic attack while running on a treadmill. She reportedly denied knowing Cerasoli, then admitted she lived with him. The affidavit says Max admitted she was at the residence with the victim, then changed her story multiple times on when she and the victim were together. Max admits she is not homeless and resides at the residence with the victim. Max allegedly said she never went into Cerasoli's room, but she goes upstairs to feed her spiders. She then allegedly claimed Cerasoli picked her up from the hospital, and no one else was at their home the day of the killing. When the detective asked Max why she had a knife and hammer in her possession, she reportedly denied carrying these items and then changed her story and admitted she carries a knife, but she retrieved the hammer from her closet tonight. Officers escorted her to the patrol car and informed her they would take her DNA after obtaining a warrant for it. Max requested a drink, and an officer handed her a Diet Mountain Dew. She allegedly began to procrastinate while drinking the soft drink, and when the officer tried to take the can away, she began to resist and began pouring the can of soda all over her body and hair and pulling away from officers in attempts to interfere with the possible evidence on Mac's body. She allegedly began pulling and kicking officers while they were trying to secure Max in the vehicle. Forensic reports showed Mac's DNA on the handle of the knife found in Sarasoli's room, and his DNA was on the blade. Court records show a mental exam was ordered August 14th. Wow, it's Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew? Wow. Going to Texas. 11-year-old girl sexually assaulted and strangled in her home while dad was at work. True Crime Daily. August 16th, 2023 was when this was published. This is in Pasadena, Texas. It says police are investigating a homicide and searching for a suspect after an 11-year-old girl was killed over the weekend while her father was at work. In a press conference, Pasadena Police Chief Josh Bruger said officers were called to an apartment complex on Main Street on Saturday, August 12th at 3:07 p.m. after receiving a call about an unresponsive girl. Paramedics arrived at the scene and pronounced the 11-year-old girl deceased. Pasadena police detectives started investigating the circumstances around the girl's death and learned from the autopsy that she was strangled to death and had been sexually assaulted. Her manner of death was ruled a homicide. KHOU-TV identified the girl as Maria Gonzalez. According to Bruger, Gonzalez and her father were from Guatemala and lived in the apartment together, but other relatives resided in the same building. Her father reportedly left for work at around 9 a.m., and the two stayed in contact via text and voice messages. About an hour later, Gonzalez texted her father to say there was someone knocking at their door. Their communication ceased after that. The father reportedly asked the girl's aunt and uncle, who also lived in the complex, to go check on her. They did a cursory check and weren't able to locate her. Eventually, her father came home at approximately 3 p.m. and discovered his daughter's body concealed under a bed. She was wrapped in a sheet and put in a laundry basket, according to KHOU. Bruger said Gonzalez's father's alibi checks out, so he is not considered a suspect at the moment. Investigators are combing through physical and digital evidence and continue to search for a suspect. Wow, that is fucking crazy. Damn.
In our other headlines today, Crime Stoppers is offering a reward to help the person who killed an 11-year-old girl in Pasadena.
Just a horrible crime. Maria Gonzalez was sexually assaulted and killed inside her home on Saturday. Anayeli Ruiz joins us live from Main Street near Southmore with the very latest on this horrible case. Anayeli.
Well, that's right. Crime Stoppers Houston told me they reached out to Pasadena Police Department hoping to offer a $5,000 reward. They want this to be an incentive. Hopefully someone can come forward with information and they can find Maria's killer. Residents at this small apartment complex in Pasadena are still shaken.
Mad and sad. Wanted to cry because I seen her.
This after 11-year-old Maria Gonzalez was found dead on Saturday morning. Her father had left for work at around 9:45 a.m. Investigators say shortly after, Maria sent her father a message letting him know someone was at the door. Carmelo Gonzalez says he told his daughter not to answer. Carmelo says his daughter told him no, she was in her bed and wouldn't answer the door. But after she didn't answer her phone, Carmelo sent his brother and sister-in-law to check on her. They live in the same complex.
Shit.
He said they walked in and found the door open. The couch was in disarray and there was coffee and sugar everywhere, but no sight of Maria. When Carmelo came home, he says he found his daughter in 2 plastic bags in a laundry basket under the bed. Dad said he didn't want to touch her and called police. Investigators today tell us they're still combing through the evidence. Carmelo is not considered a suspect, but they're looking for any clues.
It's disturbing on so many elements.
Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers in Houston hopes the reward helps incite some people to come forward with any information and fears the person responsible might have known the family.
You knew she was alone. You knew all these elements. And obviously you were prepared to do what you did just because of the way you left this young girl. So there's a lot of thought and a lot of planning that went into this.
But reward or no reward?
Realmente, yo pienso que no sean los $5,000 que...
Neighbors hope someone just does the right thing and comes forward. Now, Maria does have a mother and a 7-year-old sister that live in Guatemala. Her father tells us they're hoping to take her body and give her a proper burial back there. And by the way, I'd just like to remind everyone that Crime Stoppers is offering a $5,000 reward. You can do this online or even through their app on their phone. You can do it in over 20 languages and remain anonymous. You can also contact the Pasadena Police Department. Reporting live, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Horrific crime.
Horrific indeed. Wow, that's just crazy. I hope they find that person. Hope they fucking find it. I hope they find that fucker. Alright, we're going to Iowa for our last true crime case of the night. It says a man charged with murder after his girlfriend was found dead in a ditch. True Crime Daily, published August 15th, 2023, and we are in Council Bluffs, Iowa. A 61-year-old man was arrested earlier this year after his girlfriend's body was found in a ditch and is now being charged in connection with her death. Eileen Gowan's daughter reported her missing to the Council Bluffs Police Department on February 15th after not hearing from her or seeing her since February 13th. Several days later, on February 26th, police found Gowan's body in a ditch near Crescent, Iowa. About 3 months later, on May 23rd, Council Bluffs police arrested Ivan Brammer on charges of abuse of a corpse and second-degree theft. On August 9th, the Council Bluffs Police Department announced Brammer was served with a warrant for second-degree murder. Police said Gowan's cause of death remained undetermined. KETV-TV reports Council Bluffs Police Sergeant John Focht said regarding the undetermined cause of death, when we get an inconclusive result like that, we're not able to charge a homicide. The police department, however, worked with a pathologist in New York who conducted a second autopsy. He concluded Gowan died from asphyxiation. Focht told KETV, with his second opinion autopsy, we felt comfortable in being able to charge the offender with second-degree murder. According to Brammer's affidavit, Gowan and Brammer lived together, but she was kicked out of their apartment about a week before she disappeared. He allegedly held on to her safe and said he would give it back to her when she paid him $300. Her safe contained $1,500, and she gave it to someone else to hold on to when she got back. The two were described as having a volatile relationship that was on and off. Gowan was reportedly last seen with Brammer on February 13 in his Ford F-150. The affidavit says the temperature that day was well above freezing, but the weather changed drastically the next night when it started snowing. That morning, video evidence from the area shows the pair driving in his truck. At first, Gowan appears normal in all respects and uninjured, sitting upright on the passenger side of Brammer's truck. About an hour later, video shows something is different with the way Gowan is sitting or positioned in his truck. At multiple intersections, with different angles and views, it appears Gowan is awkwardly slumped in the passenger seat. Her body position did not change for the rest of the drive. Later that morning, Gowan was no longer visible in the truck. The affidavit says Gowan sustained multiple injuries to her body, including contusions on her legs, arm, and wrists, an L-shaped laceration on her head, and a mark on the left side of her neck. The assistant state medical examiner, Dr. Kelly Cruz, said the head injuries would have been so severe as to have caused her death. Police thought the mark on her neck was from a ligature, but the assistant medical examiner disagreed. The Council Bluffs police detective asked Cruz if Gawan could have died from asphyxia, and Cruz said she could not rule this out as a possibility. According to the affidavit, another possibility Dr. Cruz could not rule out was death by blood loss, as due to decomposition, she could not say how much blood was in her body. Gawan was found wearing the same clothes as the day she went missing. Brammer is now being held on $500,000 bond. Should be $1 million. Should be 1.5. It's crazy. All right, and that is the last case of the night. Before I let you guys go, I do want to talk about something really brief. It's pretty interesting, related to true crime. What is it? Dang it, I had it at the tip of my tongue, and I no longer have it. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So, I read a really interesting true crime book this week, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Book is called Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Donlia. It is an extremely interesting book. If you, first of all, are into reading, it's actually on audiobook as well. It's the story of Alex. She is the sole survivor of a massacre, and 10 years later, she becomes an investigator, and she starts diving into another case that could potentially be related to the killing of her family. Pretty interesting story. The twist is really great. I thought it was really interesting. I did not see it coming, and let me tell you something. I watch a lot of true crime, watch a lot of horror movies, a lot of suspense movies, and I did not see that twist coming. Very great. It's a very easy read as well. Keeps you really captivated. Also, the situations that happen don't seem out of this world. Could well happen to anyone, to be quite honest. Has different elements. One of them being the obsession that true crime fanatics have, and how that can affect or hinder an investigation. Social media in general. Inconsistencies with how, law enforcement does their jobs. A slew of things. It's a great read. I highly recommend. It's my first true crime book recommendation. I will be doing more of these as I start reading a lot more of them. I will definitely be checking out this author, Charlie Donlia. His wordplay and how precise he is with the information, and just the dialogue between all of the different protagonists that are in the book. Specifically Alex. I really liked her as a main character. Check it out. It's really good. Again, worth the read. I don't know how your library works in the area where you are, but here in California, especially here in Northern California, libraries, you get access to like audiobooks and movies and a whole bunch of other things. If you also have that ability, dude, check it out. Get a library card. You can hear, there's like thousands and thousands of audiobooks that you can check out and you can hear and you can enjoy. There's also books, you can do it online and just pick it up. A slew of things, it depends on how you want to do it, but I highly recommend this book. So it's Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Downia. It's a true crime story with an amazing twist. Check it out. Let me know in the comment section of this live stream or join the Discord and tell me what you thought about the book. And again, this is my first true crime book recommendation. Like I said, as I read them, I will be letting you know about it, and hopefully you will be interested in reading it. So yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to do before ending the stream here. I'll show you the cover of the book. Excellent book. Highly recommend. That's probably the next. It says here, author of 20 Years Later. That's his most famous book. I'll definitely be checking that one out. It has excellent reviews. So yeah. We have come to the end of the live stream. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Anyone that stopped by, I had some Where's Worm. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. I don't know if you're here still, but if you are, I appreciate you being here. Anyone else that saw the stream on Facebook or YouTube, that's what's up. Thank you very much. I'm at loss for words. I love doing this. I love being in front of a camera. I wish I could do this all day, every day, but unfortunately, you gotta pay bills and shit because of capitalism and whatnot. But nonetheless, dude, this was awesome. I will be back Wednesday for another episode of True Crime Daily, and I have to get back into the habit of doing Coffee, the News, and Us. I'll post on Discord when I'll be doing that again, but for now, dude, you know where to find the King Angel Show. Bam! You can see it right here. Instagram, X, I guess it is. Threads, TikTok. You can use your Amazon Prime on Twitch. It's Twitch Prime. That'll help me out a lot. If not, you can just follow me on Twitch. It'll notify you when I go live. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have 3 of them. There's a parent channel, which is the King Angel Show, and then we have 2 sub channels, which is the one that you're watching here now, True Crime, and there's another one that is Coffee, the News, and Us. It's the complete opposite of what we do here on True Crime. So that's way more lighthearted, good news, all that's interesting. So if you want the flip side of what I do, check out Coffee, the News, and Us. Patreon members get access to all videos that are in the sub channels on the parent channel. You also get Random Topic Day, which is exclusive to Patreon members, where we have a whole bunch of topics, interesting topics for that. Just adding that part in a huge jar, and we just pick out a topic and go down that rabbit hole. That's $2 a month. You get a whole bunch of other benefits as well. Audio versions of all episodes, reaction review videos that are exclusive to Patreon members, Discord channels that are private, only for Patreon members. We watch movies, album listens, and you get access to the public site as well. Also, what is there? It's a whole bunch of benefits. Get channel points on Twitch. You get an exclusive badge on Twitch as well. You get one on Discord. Well, the badge on Twitch is the artist badge that's saved only for Patreon members. But the one on Twitch, the one on Discord is exclusive to Patreon members. So, yeah. Check them out. Check out the benefits. They're in the description box of this live stream. If it's not there, and just the link to the Patreon website should be there. Click on that or press on it. Bam! It'll take you to Patreon, and then you can check it out for yourself. I have a 7-day free trial going on, so I'd love for you to participate. Help me out if you like it. You like what I offer, and you want to further support me, bro. Just stay as a member. $2 a month, and that will help me out immensely. If not, just check out my YouTube channel. You'll find a whole bunch of videos of different topics. You want reviews and reactions for music videos, movie trailers? The King Angel Show. You want lighthearted news and interesting facts? Coffee the News and Us. If you like true crime, murder mystery, this channel right here. Cass True Crime. Cass is King Angel Show. In case you didn't know. And then if you don't know, now you know. And that'll be all for tonight. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. As always, this is the King Angel Show. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer and content creator here on YouTube and Twitch. Also on Facebook. And soon on TikTok. Follow me there. You won't miss out on that live stream that's only on TikTok. That'll be happening sooner rather than later. And that's about it. I'm hungry. Time for some dinner. We had a pretty long episode today. I'm really happy about that. I said it was gonna be long, and I kept my word, because all I have are my balls and my word, and I don't break them. I don't break any of those two things for anyone. So, you know, I'm in this for the long run, and I hope you are in this for the long run with me. Take it easy. Have a very wonderful night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Thank you.